Everybody knows that Rush is one of my all-time favorite bands. All of them are star seeds, and I was reading it, and it was funny because this book that they have created as far as the making of the Farewell to Kings is one of their songs, but it's all comic book-like. And so one of the pages, this talks about kind of the to mid of their careers, and it's one of their best albums, one of the best songs that were made was 2112, and the albums before that. And just after that, and it's so amazing to think that some of their best songs and some of their best creations were done in the mid-1970s. Hello, sweetheart. We're going to do amazing things today, and I'm so excited. This is going to be a huge, profound weekend of change. So I just wanted to thank Mother, Father, God, and all of the people that have inspired me. Rush is one of the bands that all three of them are starseeds, and you can tell because their music, although it was written and many of their greatest works were done in the mid-70s, they were far beyond their time in the writing and lyricism, as well as music and composition. This huge book that I have in front of me, I was just walking in the library and I saw it down on the lower shelf, so I pulled it out, and it is, I'll just show you, it's like comic book style. And so we've been dealing with the ideas and, symbolisms of comic books and the heroes and the characters that we evolve through time. And so it was really nice to see that they've done some really fun storytelling through comics and through the various phases of their creative craft, how they go through the process. It's always been a wonderment to me. I've always been in love with music. Music has always been one of my deepest loves, and because I'm a sacred toner, and I've come with sacred tones, and I have sacred tones in the codes and how I use sound and how I work with sound with the Creator, with Gaia, with the omnipresent fields, with the Gaia fields. It's an intuitive expression for me, and it's a healing expression for me, and it is ancient right from my very first incarnation here. Simply because the higher in oscillation you are with source consciousness, you have higher enmeshment with harmonics, because everything in creation first is through sound. So sound to me and music to me has always been a fascination and a deep, deep soul love. From my earliest of memories, it's always been about music. And so in the earliest of my memories, I've always had music as the highest excitement to express the soul's journey, the soul's experience, the soul's story. And so part of the sexiness with me in music is the dynamic to create a song that ends up being heard through, whether it be a sound or a CD or an MP3, however you hear the music or however you hear the song first. But it goes through a process of evolution. A song is always evolutionary. It starts off as songs or melodies or notes or words, and then it moves into its evolution of processing and creation. And so it's always been that process of evolution of how a song becomes a song, and how a song is, in this regard, one of the songs of Rush, and one of my favorite songs, is Xanadu, and it's one of their lengthy songs, and it took them, I think, 6 weeks to make, and this was in the mid-70s, and they'd only been together for 3 years to make that type of music, to make that depth of music that was so complex in its timing, in its the time changes, the signature changes. There's only 3 of them, and to have them have written it, produced it, and have it take 3 years is just insane to me. And so it's always been the complexities and the wonderment and the depths of love and excitement that I have for music is how it goes from a concept, from an idea, from a sound, from a word, from a melody, from a chord, and to its fullest fruition. And this band has always brought me so much wonderment of any one of their songs to how it became. And this book kind of just goes through in cartoon, comic book way, some of their songs and how it went from beginning to end. And it shows the genius of these 3 people, and the genius of each person individually bringing their best to the table, and why I sometimes put in my writings and in my videos and in my offerings how important creative expression is, and you staying committed and devoted to your craft. But if that staying devoted and committed to your craft, yes, you'll have your frustration days and you'll have those moments where, you just want to put the paintbrush down and walk out the door. But more often than not, it is the evolution of your crafting. And Rush has been the band that has always brought that to me. It's always brought wonderment and ponderment. And it's like, how the fuck did they do that? I listen because I'm a conduit. I can listen to the most intricate 4 bars of music, and I can pull out the various layering. And it's only 3 of them. And so for them to produce what they did in the time period that they did, there was no internet at that time. And they basically just went in and they experimented and they explored. And it's so very profound to see that these are true crafters. These are beings that any one of them could have taken, and they do. And how you know they're starseeds is they, throughout their careers and throughout their personal interests, they've also branched off into many different things. And so they have many different creative sparks of interest that they've moved into. But that's how the multidimensional brain of a genius, of a crafter, works. Is they can take a concept like Neil Peart, who is the author, most of the author of the songs, and written most of the songs, and the complexity of the songs and the timing of the songs, to be that complex of crafter in all ways of music production. Of course, they had the music producers producing their music, but when they went into the live studio, they had the recording, I don't know what it's called, technology, recording most of the time, because they didn't know what parts of their jamming sessions they would put in the song. So they would then listen to it later and pull out parts and then work with those parts. So they would write songs in different ways, and it would always amaze me how I'm so addicted and so obsessed and so in love with music, is that wonderment of what part of this incredible song did you start with, and how did that song become the song? Was it a note first? Was it a chord first? Was it a verse first? Was it lyric first? And most creative crafting geniuses have various ways that they create that music, because it challenges their evolutionary process. It challenges our creative process. And so they're inspired also by books, because Neil Peart was an avid reader, a genius, but he didn't have secondary school education in any degree. He was just a self-taught, self-learned person, a true genius at heart, and his lyrics were about the future. And this is another part that just amazed me in most of their music. Not only was it lyrically crafted to such genius levels, but how they made their music in the days that they did in the mid 70s and 80s. And, that I think that was they had some incredible music in the 70s and 80s. And there was nothing that connected them to the internet to investigate and to see and to mirror any other bands. It was just basically, let's go in and create and experiment. And so it's always just been a fascination and a wonderment with me, and they're probably one of the bands that I go to the most as far as inspiration. And because they have such a long catalog, I think 30 or 40 albums over their 40-year career, so they just about did an album, working, tirelessly on it just until it was produced. And it's so inspiring to see how their process of making music. And this is where I always say, for those that are true creative geniuses, watch as many videos for those that inspire you. How do they do their craft, and how do they work through their craft? There's lots of videos of those that show, I know Rush has a few songs, not all songs, but there are a few of their more popular songs that they've actually taken you through the production process. Like in this particular song, how did it come about? Did you start with a chord first? Did you start with a melody first? Did you start with a lyric first? So I always suggest to those that are true crafters, true writers, true creators, go to those videos of those people making the music and the art and the paintings and the books, and ask them, how did they start? Where did it begin? Show us a process of how you move through your craft, because it's truly inspiring. We now see how people make music. Nowadays, it's all technological, and they can send music back and forth to various artists, and the artist can do their part, and then it's sent back and forth to the other artists for them to do their part. It's all very technologically based now. Back in the 70s, it wasn't. It was basically, they had a jamming studio that they would go to, and they would just record, and they would pull pieces out. So it was a longer process. But did that process add a different vibration to it? Did that process of creating craft add some romanticism to it? And I'd like to think yes, because the people that were in that passion to create the best music that they could, they had an intention. Rush was always a band of intention, and right from day one, when they chose Neil Peart to be a part of the band had an intention to play the most technical, evolutionary music that they could. That was their intention from early in the 70s. And in that, they would always allow each other to explore and allow each other to be, at the front and center. They would take turns being at the front and center. And they were one of the bands, I think, because they were one of the few that added orchestration, if you will, and layering of orchestration. They were one of the few at that time, and they've brought it into a now moment, which I think we're going to start to explore a little bit more of, is orchestrational layering, and the complexity of that, and how they were one of the first bands that did it through their rock exploration, because they were a rock band, and they wanted to play as technically perfected as they could, along with lyrics that meant something to all of them. They wanted to have messages in their songs, and they were very intentional about their craft. And so it makes a difference. They have longevity. They have genuine, authentic audiences that follow them all over the world still to this day. There's books even made. I'm sure they're probably selling more of their more of their books and more of their their biographies, probably more now than they ever have, because there was a definite equation to Rush. It was an equation that was brought together through, as most genius co-creators are, through the divine. They were in the right place at the right time, and all three of them had the same passion to truly be the best that they could in their craft. And it shows, because lyrically and compositionally, how they set it up, and then they began to getting into orchestrational layering and the precision and the timing. It's very few and far between that any band would ever be like that ever again. But I know that in New Earth Star, we're going to be creating ways that we can see crafting and genius of creative expression, and we're going to be looking at it in a whole bunch of different new ways. And although we have the technology that we, because it's more efficient, it's more cost effective, but I do know that there are those that that really challenge their expression and excitement to express through their musical instruments and their voice and their own creative genius. And they always return. There are a couple of really good icons and mavericks, if you will, that have really maintained their flow of their creational output. And they've maintained that authenticity. They've maintained that if it's not the message of my soul at this time, then I'm not going to put it out. Or if I'm not vibing with what that message is, then I'm just not going to put it out. And there are many artists that have refused to sell out. And so we want to give them credit for also maintaining the alignment with their soul's creative craft. And Rush is one of those few bands that if you go and read about them, and if you look at their interviews, how they make certain songs, where they became, where did the ideas come from, and where did they start with? This band was one of a band where they would start from all ends in different areas of their production. So sometimes it would be a chord, sometimes it would be a lyric, sometimes it would be a lot of jam sessions, and then they would put words to the lyrics. And this is where I've always found the fascination with music, especially for such high complex bands as Rush is. Where do they start? And is it the same process every song? Because some of their songs are so fucking technical. And why I love listening to them, and they inspire me so very much. But when you get into the stories behind the songs, it makes it even more of a journey of evolution. And I really, really do love how music, how artists, painters, authors, creators, they come forward and they share their story of how they create. And this is why I try and come forward in my videos. We're going to talk about the creator gods today. We're going to talk about New Earth Star creator gods. We're going to talk about being godliness. I've got a channel from Mother, Father, God, and the Councils of Light and the Galactic Federations. We're moving into some very important energy and very important times through these gates of New Earth Star. And I'm very happy to be a creator god, a divine feminine, moving my way into taking my own stand of self co-creation. So the heavens, Mother, Father, God are empowering me, imploring me to step into my leadership role. And so they're basically pushing me through the gates. Those are the visions that I've been seeing for the last couple of days. And it's like, okay, you're now ready, get out there. And so this is the visions that I'm being shown. They're basically pushing me through the gates and kicking me through. And I'm always one that wants to be more prepared and wants to be more learned. So I try and be as prepared as I can, but they've said that I've been prepared for quite some time. I should have already been out there in the field, but there's been so many people that have gathered and clouted against me that it's now back to a ridiculous level. And there's going to be changes this weekend that we'll see, in the next 72 hours, which will be verifying many of my predictions. But I wanted to just bring this forward because I was just walking through the library and I found this book on the very bottom shelf, and I just had to pull it out because the way that certain geniuses and certain true creators craft their artwork, whether it's painting, whether it's poetry, whether it's a song, what doesn't matter what your craft is, because most creative geniuses and icons and mavericks, they're crafting 24/7. They might watch TV or they might go out with friends, but constantly it's always in the belly of their soul. It's always in the belly of their solar plexus. They're constantly churning. They're constantly churning ideas or sounds, or they'll hear a beat, or they'll hear how a rhyme can sound differently, or how words can be fit together differently. And they're constantly churning in their crafthood. And so it's very important. It is very exciting to play with different ideas of characters and how you can move your craft through characters like comics, because you can give them superheroes, you can give them capes, you can give them various storylines, and you can see how bands that were very complex, and there was nobody doing music the way that Rush was, and there probably will never be another Rush core vibration. They were brought together by the divine. They were meant to come together again. They've probably had many timelines together. Creating, and these are all creative geniuses where they just practiced and they crafted as hard as they could, but they did it in their passion, so it was never really work for them. Yes, they leave the studio exhausted after a weekend of recording, of course, but they did it because they loved it. It's who they were. And that is how you can tell when we talk about those that are being rewarded in the collective, those that are being lifted by the Creator, are those that have stayed true in their long-lasting careers and their long-lasting journeys of their evolution of crafting, is because they refuse to put it down. It's who they are. It's just who they are. They just must craft. And we've talked about in many of our videos, even on our radio shows, how can you tell what is your soul's blueprint theme? What is your creative genius? What is that sacred child within you? What is within you that must come out in that creative expression, exploration? To be the experience of the journey of your evolution, to be the experience of your evolutionary crafting journey. It's so important, and really take those questions that I've just said and play with that as your spiritual awareness for the week. And really start asking yourself, what is my sacred child's creative passion? What is the purpose? What do I always go to? What do I always go to chill out? What do I always go to express how I'm feeling angry? What is the thing that I go to? What is it I just must do? What do I see myself doing when I lay down at night? What is that urging and that aching within your solar plexus? That's the belly of the beast, if you will. And it is that dichotomy that we fight with. It is the devil, it is the angel within us, because we're not going to be peaceful beings, and we won't set aside and at our death and at our transition into other worlds, we're going to say, did I express myself? Did I go through the 3 E's? Was I loving who I was enough? Did I express it? How did I express it? Was I fully in my expression? And how creative genius is so important to humanity's healing, how it's so important for our unity consciousness, and to really dive into and explore those that you really have great love for their craft, and look at different videos on how they create songs and how they put songs together. Some of their best songs that they put together and just seems to be a hit comes about in a different way, and it comes about in a way most often than not is so nonchalant, because it is just the expression of the soul, and it's done in fluid flow. That's how you know you're aligned with Source. You're aligned with your higher self, because it is the sacred Trinity. There's no forcing mechanism, there's no spell work involved, there's no pushing or manipulating. It just simply is the crafting. It's allowing of the craft, it's allowing of the creative spirit. In spirit means to be in spirit of, the inspiration of. And these words are the root words of being in alignment of spirit. What is your spiritual expression? And every single human has a creative universal expression that is directly and always will be related to your soul's blueprint. But it's up to each person to have fun and to play and to create comics and to create characters and to create stories of their evolution of craft. And this is where I've just found Rush so exciting, and it's helped me become a better writer, to become a better orator, to have that as a reflection upon my depths of my craft, and to see how they've evolved through books and stories and comics and songs and poetry and their interview process. They truly wanted to be purveyors of the next generation, and they've done a lot of help videos to help other drummers and to help other guitarists. So they've always put a lot into sharing their genius, into sharing their craft, which is always another sign of a true icon and maverick, is when they share with the collective quite freely. They don't have to be paid, they just share because it's who they are. And so this has been something that through my 17 years of choosing to be a teacher and a creator and a leader of enlightenment and higher consciousness experiences, and the importance of creativity and the expression of it, and truly understanding the soul's journey and the soul's progress. And there are certain laws and higher order laws that the spiritual realms, we're going to talk about that, how the spiritual realms look and discern and watch over younger, more immature, denser planets on how they're evolving. There are always higher order spiritual councils. There is always a higher spiritual orderly council for the heavens, for the Divine Father's plan. And every soul is being watched. That's why you have guides, you have teams of healers, you have your ancestors. And all of those beings that come with you in any incarnation, they're there to watch you and oversee you and help you and give you what they had in the previous generations, as you're there to break and transition and transcend what those blocks and hurdles was as to how and why. What are your limitations and what are your beliefs? Because it's truly the beliefs that we're here to transcend and have as much open beliefs of the infinite creator and the highest umbrella. And that's what we want to work to. We want to work to the highest umbrella of infinite co-creation. So you can be a crafting genius at any phase, at any stage, and then have different processes where you're navigating through different pathways that make you a better crafter. Because the infinite genius of the creator is infinite crafting. I mean, Source Creator just has the joy of thinking a planet, and the planet is births. So we're going to talk today about the creator godlyhood. Like, what is creator God? What is godliness? Because I was asking Spirit that this morning. I was asking Father, tell me a little bit about godliness. It's such a hard concept because I was born within man, right? I was born within dysfunctional man. I was born within this dysfunctional experience, and yet I'm a God. I'm a creator God. So how do I present this to the collective when the collective, has been so much discrimination thus far, just being a Messiah in Divine Feminine body. And just, we all know, Divine Feminine's, how hard it's been for us to have the same career challenges and the vocational challenges that we do in advancement, in us producing and expressing ourselves and having just our craft be our craft. And why can't it just be, without the daily barrage of sabotage, without the daily barrage of attacking, without the daily barrage of judgment, because of the immature sociological notions and idealisms that are in the collective, because it has been very staunch, it's been very suppressed, it's been very misogynistic. And so we have to really look at our crafting as a human collective is going to go through gates that are going to be so profound. And this is why we've kind of called it the Alexandria era, the golden era of creativity. And we're moving into, and we're really going to burst. I just see a burst. It's like a quasar, like a pulsar, like a quark, if you will, that first initial spark of birthing and breakthrough, where what we thought of ourselves and who we thought of ourselves and how we've mirrored certain things into the collective mirror, if you will, the matrix, if you will, the collective ideologies, and how it's been very, very suppressed, and how there's been so many, as we've talked about before, there's been so much disenfranchisement. And why do we even have disenfranchisement? Why is there so much disenfranchisement? If you're not the, the middle-aged, elite, white collar men on the planet, elite men on the planet, you're disenfranchised. That's the systems we've built, and that's where it goes back to, again, the Adam-Eve project. So go back and look at that. There's a lot in there of the Adam-Eve project, and to be a full spiritual being, you must look at the Adam-Eve energies within you, the Adam-Eve energies of your lineage, the Adam-Eve energies of dogma, the Adam-Eve energies of the social collective, the Adam-Eve genre of collective ideals and notions and perspectives and projections on Divine Feminine. Anything within the Divine Feminine expression, if she goes into any career, there's expectations, there's projections aren't there for the average man, if you will. And so there's so many ideologies that are already discriminatory, they're unbalanced, they're not fair. It's already a challenge for divine feminine, let alone for her to come forward and to be a Messiah, let alone for her to come forward and be a God. And so we're challenging ourselves to really burst through and break and really let go of how ignorant and how immature, how dense, how harmful, how bigoted, how hateful the discriminations have been in the past 3,000, 5,000 years, and how much death has occurred, how much nonsense, and how much corruption, how much trafficking and the abhorrence to sacred life has been done simply because of these projections of imbalance to who we are as a species. And it really goes back again to the Adam Eve project. There's so much wounding that needs to be looked at. And how do the ideologies from the social projections and the social ideologies and the social conformities and objectifications that divine feminine go through, we all have to take a new look at every day. Who are we? What are the energies of divine feminine coming through? And how can we allow for a higher vibrational, it is the Divine Father's plan, so we're moving forward with it, and it's up to everybody to deal with this is what we're going to talk about today, deal with their discriminations. And one of my channels has been one of the ones that has, obviously, as I show you all very blatantly, that YouTube has suppressed it and shadow banned it. And the videos are getting pilfered and the views are getting pilfered. So on one hand, I've been used on every aspect for my genius. I've been used for my content. I've been used for my ideas, and the leaders and the leaders of the countries and all of these leaders of these secret society clubs watch me for my predictions, and they watch me and they use me for my energy. They use me for my wisdom and my genius. They use me and then they have people attack me. So it's a double-edged sword for them. They're both using me and they're both attacking me. They're both blaspheming me, and then they both want my content and then sell me in the underground to see who can take me out and who's going to get paid the most to take me out. So it's a double-edged sword of the devil, if you will, and that's where they're going, is they're going to their own proverbial hell, which we're going to talk about today. Because they've refused to heal, and in that refusal to heal, they've created their own demise, their own pit that they're falling into, and that's exactly what God is showing everybody over the next 72 hours of certain sects and certain groups and certain cults that have refused to do the work, they've refused to do right, they've refused to come forward and return the monies that were mine, return information and birthright information that was legally mine, always mine. All of these things are legally as a human right, legally in a criminal court of law, they're legally mine. And yet the white-collar criminals, the corrupt governments, the corrupt secret societies, the corrupt Masons, and everybody that has been involved, and as God said in my channeling many times, which I've shared it on my platform, when it does come out in the names that have been involved in attacking me, the 50 or more people that have been attacking me and the people that have been paid, the people that have been directing the hits, the monies that have been going back and forth to take me out, to silence me, everybody will be amazed at who these people are, their names and their roles in society. And we have to understand that these are the exact same core foundations as we've just talked about in all of our videos as to the Adam Eve project and the energies that have been imbalanced, the misogynies and the bigotry about where we place our ideologies, where we place our focus on energy, who we give our power away to and why, and then reclaiming it back to ourselves to know that divine feminine are just as godly as any other being, and why would it not be? And then again, ask yourself those blatant questions. Why cannot a divine feminine be a god? Why can she not have her own goddesshood? Why can she not create planets and energies and songs through her energy and intention and essence? Most people don't understand energy or consciousness as deep and as wide as I do, so that's fine. But we have to understand, if we're in the image of Mother, Father, God, why is it that divine feminine are nowhere to be found and she's attacked and silenced on every step of her journey? Not only does she have the normal conformities of presenting herself as a professional in the career and vocational fields, just in a normal human collective field. We're not talking higher consciousness roles. We're talking just in a normal banking world, if you will, just in a normal judicial world, just in a normal musical world. Divine feminine face far more challenges of discrimination for her to present herself as a successful being, for her to create and express her voice purely and genuinely. And most often than not, as we've seen in most of my Icon and Maverick articles, so many of these geniuses and starseeds have had unfortunate endings and they're no longer with us simply because they just didn't have that, final thread harmony and that harmonization, that enmeshment with Source Creator to see them through the Goliath, the monumental Goliath challenges of the systems that suppress. because they know that change is going to bring humanity into its sovereignty. They know that these changes that I speak of, my teachings, will bring humanity into full liberation of using your own light, of being your own light, and letting go of the conformities and the limitations and the dogmatic doctrines that have held us back in discrimination. And where has discrimination gotten us? It's gotten us into an absolute stagnancy of creativity. The icons and mavericks of creativity are, again, we're going to see a big burst and a breakthrough that's going to drive humanity forward into this new Earth star, into huge and profound creative expressions. It's really going to be exciting over the next 10 years. So I'm really excited about that, because humanity is going to awaken into, again, what Rush emulated to me is just the joy and the genius to sit and craft and do what you do well, and do what you do with passion, and do what you do with excitement, and do what you do with new ideas to bring it forward in new ways, i.e. comics, or doing orating, having a storytelling night, and you do, you take 6 months out of the year and you travel and you just do storytelling. Bringing community and storytelling back to the lineages and back to the communities is going to be another important process for all creators and those that have been orators in your previous lifetimes. You'll know who you are, because again, it's just, you just must share. Even if I don't get paid for what I do, I'm a storyteller, I'm an orator, I've been an orator many lifetimes. And so it's just something I do. It's scribe, it's taking the higher informations and making it usable for those in your collective. And that is sharing the information, that's sharing the wisdoms of the higher realms. And that makes you godly. And so just allow all of the matrix. The Matrix will be trying their last attempts to enforce people back into their smaller boxes. And through various ways and through various experiences, we're going to see a few of the staunch controllers and dominators of the Matrix, if you will. They're refusing to want humanity to transcend beyond church and state. And there will be those shakings that the Father and the heavens are helping. The souls and the spiritual realms have had the courts, or the spiritual court is in process all the time in the spiritual realms. And if we're not evolving in a timely manner based on those messengers that have come forward, myself, the predictions and the messages that we say, this is the Father's plan, we're moving forward. Humanity has free will to go about their business and do as they wish. But again, the Father's plan is the Father's plan. We are moving forward with Ascension. That's not going to stop. Ascension isn't going to change just because you choose not to believe in Ascension. And we're moving forward with the plan. And that means that we must be in full liberation of the divine feminine masculine energies within each and every one of us. And it's up to each and every one of us to be our own spiritual commandmentship of what that means to us. And how can we truly expand into the highest levels of co-creation, creativity? Our highest levels of creative genius should be a lifetime goal. Can I be the highest level of creativity for my divine feminine masculine energies within? And that should be an exciting question you should pose to yourself as a spiritual being. And how can you push the boundaries of your spiritual creativity so that it's enjoyable, that it's flowing in joy and sacredness and excitement, because that is who you are. Because we are the emulation, we are the representation of the heavens, and it is all about creative liberation and the expression of it. This makes us godly. And so let me get into it. So I just wanted to share this little book, and I wanted to do just a couple of poems from my other favorite author. I always get inspired. I'm going to be sharing different ways that I'm inspired by different creators and different crafters, and we're talking about crafting. Atticus is one of my favorite poets, and so Atticus inspires me, and I've read most of his books. He's had a couple going on in the last couple of years. So I'm just going to read a couple of poems by Atticus because he's so very inspiring. And I just love his work. He's a lover of love, and he writes about love. So I'm just going to read a couple of poems, and then I'm going to go into my channeling work. So just sit back and just open your divine sacred heart. We're going to talk about, we're going to have the federations in with us today. And Mother Father will be speaking through me because there is important collective messages. Thank you to everybody on the line that is coming with an open heart to learn and be their highest and their best. I want to give more praise to those that show up every time we do a video that do have pure intention, because that's how you move yourself forward in your highest timeline, is your purity of your intention, the alignment of your chakras. To say in every episode that you come forward with our teachings, and go back and listen to all of our other videos, 750 of them, it is about the alignment of your highest and your best with the higher self, to evolve and transcend and to liberate yourself within the process of ascension, And that is clearing and alchemizing and integrating 51% of your karma, 51% of your soul's fragments, and becoming a soul-infused whole being. That means that you're balanced in your divine feminine energies, you're balanced in your divine masculine energies, which makes you a balanced creative genius. Therefore, thus then you are creating like a god, because you are aware that all that you do affects others, all that you are affects others, and why not start at the highest umbrella? And therefore, that's we can heal most of our discrimination issues, most of our diseases. And that, as I said in my last video, for us to transcend disease, for us to transcend all the damage we've done to Gaia and each other, for us to transcend and come up with answers of healing for the trafficking and the underground black web, the billion-dollar business that it has been in corruption, we must come up with higher vibrational healers, leaders, and teachers to heal, correct, and transcend the damages that we've done that has been now into the billions of dollars. And so we have to transcend and break through and create, come up with inspiring, creative ideas, and each and every one of you are a piece of the puzzle to healing, transcending, expanding, and exploring new ways into a 5D dimensional consciousness of Earth that's never been done before. So you're at the leading edge. You are at the gates. It is your inspiration, it is your alignment, it is your pulsation of being a spirit harmonized in a matter body to move forward in places that have never been done before. So I'm very grateful that each and every one of you are here. I'm very grateful for the sharing of my videos with pure intent to share the collective vibration and to raise the collective vibration, to bring the stories that need to be brought forward for those that are speaking it, for those that go through it, for those that experience it and are the voice for the voiceless. So I am a voice for the crystalline children. I am a voice for those being trafficked. I have survived for a reason, and my story will go global for the help and the inspiration and the enhancement and empowerment that anything is possible with the Alliance of Light. And that is my title of my 4th book. And how to align with your teams, how to ally with your soul's teams, your guides, your higher self. What does the higher self do in your soul's blueprint? Why do you have spirit guides? Who are your spirit guides? Why are we all here? How and why and where can we start feeling and embracing and emulating and allowing the flow of our highest umbrella, which is becoming our higher godly self? And so those in dogma, those in church and states would find, and this is why I've been attacked so much, they would find it blasphemy because they only want God to be spoken from a man. They only want God to be spoken from a certain way, from a certain book, from a certain chapter. And we all know through 3,000 years of the Bible renditions, much of it has been manipulated and transitioned through time. And now it's just time to say, if you want to stick to the Bible, that's fine. That's your free will and choice. And again, Ascension won't stop. There are those of us that do want to evolve to higher vibrational timelines. There are those of us that want to evolve with higher vibrational consciousness and essence of spirit. There are those of us that want to transcend and be healthier beings and be eternal life. And so thus then we have our birthright, we have our universal birthright. So there will always be free will in the process of ascension, in the process of planetary evolution. Light is being bathed on our planet every day. People's DNA is being activated every day. The consciousness of one person awakening affects the all, regardless if it's billions on a planet or 3 on the planet. Everything affects everything, from the work version all the way up to the grandest version of life. We affect all that is. And so God beings like myself that have had a lot of experience. We talked about how important the experience is to those that are being leveled up in leadership roles, for those that are being leveled up in higher vibrational teaching roles and assimilation roles. We're going to talk about that today, is because we've had the experience and we've been initiated by the heavens, and the spiritual realms are always watching. The spiritual realms watch when you don't think anybody's watching. You're tested at all times. Will you behave and align with integrity? Will you behave and align with who you are as a soul? Will you behave and align in the alignment of greater good? Transcending all church and state, because church and state will not show you through ascension. As we see, it's very bigoted, it's very discriminatory. And if it weren't discriminatory, if it weren't bigoted, then I wouldn't have spent the past 50 years being put through sabotaging, human targeting, Hunger Game experiences where my name and my energy and my gifts and skills are being bought and sold in the black web. And having 50 people or more take me out, including those that call themselves family, and those that call themselves community, white-collar people that call themselves spiritual guides, and they're really not. They're warped warlocks, they're warped witches, and they have all been paid. Whether they've been paid by those higher above them and elites will have to be investigated. And this is where I've been saying, if you are in those cults and covens and you have been being paid directed by higher elites, then If it were my soul, if I would care about what incarnation I'm coming back to, if I'm ever coming back for an incarnation, I would absolutely go to the authorities and I would absolutely start logging your experiences and I would start coming forward in truth. Because the higher elites that have been directing you to take harm on people, that have been paying you to take harm on people, that have been paying you to take people out, it is systematic abuse. It is all absolutely criminal. It is abuse of power. It is abuse of technology. It's abuse of Information and Privacy Acts. It is abuse of every human rights act that we have. It is abuse of all the liberties that we have of being human on a planet. And nobody in any level of power has any right to ever enforce aggression and violence to take people out because they are who they are. I have the right to bring humanity into higher consciousness, to learn and explore, those that so desire, to learn and explore God in new ways, to learn and explore who we are in new ways, to learn and explore the co-creational realities in new ways, and to understand that all is the science of God and God is the science of all that is life, in all that is quantum love and joy and harmonics. To see and know ourselves as higher vibrational beings, to know that we live in a higher vibrational, infinite, eternal life creative expression, and we have our rights to be so and do so. And nobody has the right to tell me who I'm going to be. Nobody has the right to sell my name back and forth or anybody else's name. Nobody has any right to put children on a bus, to put children in tanks, to put children in anything and ship them back and forth for the selfish, gross malevolence of people that are warped and twisted and have absolutely disconnected from their spirit and their conscience, and they're choosing not to behave as do unto others. They're completely abusing all laws and rules of universal power, of universal laws, of universal natural order. They're abusing every criminal law. They're abusing every human rights law. They're abusing every law that is even known to man, known to the higher realms. And these people will be, as I stated in my last video, one by one, these secret cults, these secret societies, these people that are in underground mafia that are training and luring and grooming children to be prostitutes, to be weaponized, to be demonized. Any of these activities, they will be shifted out and they will be brought down one by one by one. The time is up. The time is up for these secret cults and societies, global organized networks and hate groups, and the people and the businesses and the elites that have been funding it. Everything will be brought down. And these are my messages as of today. It is my pure conviction to say, New Earth Star is a new garden with new soils and new leaders that have higher consciousness, that have been trained over eons through the heavens, through the highest divine plan, and we've been initiated by the heavens. There is no higher order. It does not matter what you believe. You will be exactly where you will be based on your importance of your soul's evolution. I'm not here to debate anybody's religious beliefs. I don't care what your religious beliefs are. Your religious beliefs aren't your soul's progression beliefs. There is absolute law and order how your soul evolves and if you're going to come back in a next incarnation. We are moving into higher consciousness, planetary movement. Everybody is 100% responsible for how they evolve into the next progress of life and light. If you are not taking it upon yourself to evolve spiritually every day and break and transcend your beliefs, your perspectives of 3D, then you will stay where you will stay and your outcome will be your outcome, because it can only be that way. What you put in is what you get out. If you choose not to evolve, if the importance is not on your evolution, then you cannot move into 5D. Because 5D is earned. Your consciousness in 5D is earned. It's manifesting from thought. It is where you have been initiated by the higher realms. It's where you've been initiated by your higher spiritual teams, because you do have a soul and your soul is connected to infinite aspects of you. You have a soul of a higher self, which your higher self is always guiding you to your soul's blueprint, your highest explorations, your experiences, and your expressions of who you are as a soul, where you've been in other timelines, what your themes are, what you came to do in this timeline of this very important human transcension, of this very important human evolution, of this very important, never been done before movement of humanity going from 3D to 5D. And within 15 years, we'll be 5D, which means that there's going to be lots of energetic shifts. There's going to be lots of light coming on the planet. There's going to be lots of changes and shifts within our ideologies of medicine, of healing. Everything will be shifting and changing. It's got to be broken up. Those weeds have to be pulled. We have to shake everything up that's been holding us back. We have to shake everything up that's been suppressing us. And there's been absolute agendas that have been enforcing aggression, violence, human targeting, and human hunger games. And these will all be proven. And so Archangel Michael and the federations and every All of the higher realm beings are with me today because there is some very important messages that we're going to bring forward. As I am a messenger for the Divine Holy Mother and the Father, I am the Divine Messiah for the Divine Feminines, as well as all of humanity. I am a representation of Divine Feminine Goddesshood. I'm bringing back the energies of Divine Goddesshood and Divine Feminine as it should have always been. We should have always been an equal playing partner with equal Divine Masculine, and we should both be at the helm of New Earth and New Earth Star leadership. It is an equal opportunity position. There should be no extra challenges. There should be no extra targeting. There should be no extra misogynistic hate groups, pay minions and secret societies and warlocks and witches and covens and voodooists and warped masons. There should be no pain of extra groups by the 50 to the hundreds that stalk, spy, hack, and sabotage someone covertly for their entire lives so that someone never ever gets up. How criminal is that? How abhorrently illegal and criminal is that? And it will be proven on more than 15 criminal counts. And many of these people will be charged. Many of these people will be arrested. Those that I have said in many of my videos, go back and watch the videos if you are truly, purely in alignment to clear your karma and to clear what has been done. If you have been a part of these secret societies, cults and covens and witches and warlocks and whatever you want to call your secret sect, whatever it's called, it does not matter. If you have been a part of abusing the first two laws, interfering with other people's lives that you have no right to do, if you've been attacking people through magic, through voodooism, through jar work, root work, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter. If you're interfering, you know you're interfering. It's not rocket science. And why everybody does these things in the dark, why they throw their rocks and they hide hands. Why all these elite people that say they're so important and they say they're so elite and they say they're so valuable and they say they're so rich in title and rich in bank and rich in pocket roll and rich in their righteousness and rich in their non-bigotedness and all of these things that the people say they're so righteous in. And yet everything that they do to harm and hurt people is done in closed doors and secret little things and secret little agendas and secret little files and in dark basements and in black covens and in dark churches. And they absolutely sell lies to the public. They're selling lies while they're doing hurtful, harmful, hateful things, treating humanity like it's a Hunger Game. And these will be proven. And why there are 20 people at a time signing on to my live chat, because they are networks of organized people that are paid to hate and take down and suppress and attack. Through their negative energies, through their negative spell work, through their black magic, through whatever it is that they have chosen by themselves to become disconnected from their spirit, from their soul. They don't care about their soul's evolution. They have already chosen to take the dark path for the rest of humanity to see. So that's fine. That's their choice. But nobody has a right, and this is God's word. None have a right on this planet, regardless of your bankroll, regardless of your title, regardless of your badge, regardless of your whatever job you think you have, whatever ranking you think you have on a 3D body and a 3D realm and a 3D house and a 3D address. Your elitism does not matter. Your ranking does not matter. You are not ranked. And nobody has any right to hold anybody back and take them down to hell with them. You don't have a right to Hunger Game. You don't have to put people's names on papers and pass it back and forth to sell them, to get hits taken out on them. You don't have a right to systematically abuse. You don't have a right to gang up on them. You don't have a right to stalk them. You don't have a right to spy on them. You don't have a right to put them on watch lists when they are innocent healers and brought forward by the divine. You do not have a right to treat the righteous chosen ones that have been proven to you and have been shown to you and have been shown to you in your dreams, have been shown to you in your everyday, that these people are true prophets and true seers and true healers. And everybody has been shown. And nobody has a right to destroy their path for selfish, corrupt, trafficking, RICO, abhorrent, corruptive ways. And these people at the very top that have been doing it will be found out. Their names will be pulled out and their names will be plucked. Anybody that has been working in such cults and covens, you have been told and you have been given your time, if you will. The windows are closing, the doors are closing. If you have been a part of these corrupt cults and covens, and you have been a part of taking people out and harming people and systematically abusing people, there are no more windows. It does not matter if you choose not to believe in light. It doesn't matter if you not choose to believe in ascension. It does not matter if you choose to believe that things are changing. It doesn't matter. Those are the small beliefs of your refusing to evolve. It doesn't matter. Humanity will still move forward. Gaia will still move forward in her ascension. The ascension for the galaxy is still moving forward. The galaxy and the universe has ascension plans, and it is under the Father. We are moving forward. You're either going to Allow the light to bathe you and to transform you, and you're either going to do your soul's progression and your soul's evolution, or you'll be shifted to wherever you'll be shifted on your vibration, because that's the quantum universe. Your vibration is where your vibration will be, and if you choose not to love and heal, then you will be on the Epstein earth, period, point blank, and you will not incarnate again. Why? Because there is no more 3D planets in this universe. This is the last 3D timeline for Earth. You're not just going to have a bypass and you're not going to come back in. If you are doing egregious acts, you are not caring about your soul's evolution and you will not earn a 5D consciousness. You either choose to alter course and care about your soul's evolution or you don't. It is that simple. Consciousness is earned. Consciousness is earned. It is an earned thing. It's an earned experience. You have to earn your consciousness by healing the densities, by releasing the densities and moving up into higher light. And how do you do that? Through love, compassion, and being a higher vibrational being. By healing your soul fragments. By allowing love to be the winner of the day, the 3 E's, the alchemy. And my story will be known all around the world. I will be traveling around the world. I will be helping heal people around the world, and we will liberate every child on this planet, because no child deserves to be a slave of anybody. Third world countries will not be third world. The disenfranchised will not be disenfranchised. We will not have the discriminations that we have had for 5,000 years. It has taken us 5,000 years from our earliest existence to transcend the idea of discrimination. And women are still not seen on our collective. Women are still not seen for geniuses. Women are still not seen for the intelligences. Women are still not seen as genius writers and creators and healers and singers and songstresses that take music to a different level. The entire entertainment field of creativity is going to go into a vast, expansive, quark-like experience, pulsar, quasar, however you want, a Zephyr experience, where we're going to branch off into infinite number of degrees, because it must. Music is not meant to be 1 or 2 genres. And to have women portrayed in the same way all the time, where they're wearing barely nothing, and the music genre and the ideas and the energies are the same, and the tempos are the same, and the chords are the same. We're meant to transcend. It's meant to be new. It's meant to be vibrationally, harmonically in alignment with higher evolutionary codes and light. And there are many of us here that have codes, and we're going to be presenting it in different creative ways so that the younger generations can get activated and clear the densities of how these light codes work. Christed Metatronic light codes work at a multidimensional level. It can't be seen, it can't be heard, but it clears away the density. It gets your chakras in alignment, your fields in alignment, because it's harmonic codes of intention. It's harmonic codes of crystalline light. And that's why those that are not activated in their DNA of the crystalline light can be seen and shown. They are the ones that are attacking. They're the ones that are gathering in networks of hate, because they're not activated in any level of any of their chakras. Their chakras are not spinning. Their chakras are shut down and blocked. They have no access to their heart chakra, and they have no access to crystalline light. They've chosen that. You can choose to be connected with crystalline light by engaging with it, the 3 E's. Do you care about your soul's evolution? Do you care to move into eternal light life? Do you care that your cells can become more light? Do you care that your cells can oscillate different ways? Do you care that you are the commandment ship and you are the ones that are creating new liberties for a new Earth star? Every liberty that we have had has been broken, has been criminally, illegally impaled, literally my life experience and what has happened to me has been the human Hunger Games. There has been elites, there has been covens, there has been cults that have been paying money to see how and who can take me out and how much and have it exploited. How many times and how many sacrifices and how many death rituals and how many chanting this and jar work and root work. There is actually games and competitions going back and forth to see what next plan or what next plot and scheme and plan can take me out. This is why you will see over the next 72 hours, there will be arrests made. There will be cults and covens coming down. As I said, the time is up on this planet. This planet is moving into ascension. She is under the helm of new spiritual realm leaders and guides and gardeners, and these gardeners will sow new seeds, and they will be consciously aligned with the sacred Trinity. They will be aligned with the heavens through the higher self. They will be aligned with the heavens through the oversoul and the oversoul of oversouls and oversoul of oversouls, because those are the oversouls that are offering you those sheaths of crystalline light that come over, if you will, the higher self and the body templates. That's why your body goes through ascension systems, because those oversoul sheaths sit on the actual Merkaba and physical body. So the ascension symptoms that I've had just been crazy is all of my higher chakras, the galactic third eye, which runs right at the hairline. So all of my higher chakras are kind of feeling really numb right now because there's an oversoul sheath that is protecting me to make sure that I'm moving through this next window. So there's lots of protections that I've got around me. But the ascension symptoms, when you're going into these sheaths of these oversoul sheaths being placed over you, it is a vibrational difference. Like I can feel my hands are constantly vibrating. Every part of me is vibrating in alignment because I activate through my voice, through my sound. So my chakras are being activated through my voice and my sound. My cells are being activated through my voice and my sound. I call forward my Christ consciousness. I call forward my crystalline light essence, and I'm starting to interact more with the omnipresent field, as we talked about before, the substrates. The substrates or the omnipresent fields is becoming more and more magnetized in higher vibrational light. And your teams are constantly moving you through timelines and aligning you with timelines of your highest and your best interests. Sometimes you can wake up in the morning and be on a different timeline than you were the day before. So people like myself that are timeline jumpers, because we deposit light in certain places, in certain denser universes, realms and dimensions of bandwidth, because there is no crystalline light there, and that light will help awaken and trigger people. And those triggers are very purposeful. When people get triggered, it's because they're meant to go within and look at why they're being triggered, what within them is being triggered, what emotion is being triggered within them. And then they're meant to do the path work. That's what triggering is all about. Triggering is a symptomology of ascension. If you're being triggered, that means you're being asked to awaken. If you're being triggered, it means it's time to evolve. That trigger is there to evolve you. That trigger is showing you, what am I feeling and why am I feeling? What's going on within me? Who am I? Who am I at this time right now? How can I evolve this soul fragment right now? Because I'm feeling really triggered. What is this trigger showing me? Well, divine feminine aren't being seen anywhere in our collective, and it's been about 3,000 years. Don't you think it's time that women get seen as healers and leaders and teachers too? Why can't women be powerful leaders? Why can't women be God? Why can't women be goddesses? And it has nothing to do with gender. It has nothing to do with gender at all. No, I'm a divine feminine goddess. I've been here for 1,000 timelines, and I'm ready to get out there and I'm ready to lead. I'm a divine genius, and I'm going to keep stating it. But there has been cults and covens and people that have wrapped their false narratives and their false stories, and they're very good and they're very expert at it, and they're very precise at it, and they're very relentless at it. They're very obsessive about it. They're obsessive in their job to hate. They've made up contracts, they've made up false documents about how crazy I am, about how I need people to look after me and wipe my ass. Well, if that's the case, then how did I transcend your 1,600 rituals of death? So if I couldn't look after myself, how did I survive your 1,600 rituals of death and your 45 sacrifices, now working on 50? Because you're doing it every full moon, you're doing it every new moon. You still have people doing voodoo and root work on me and trying to send me people that are infected, that have diseases, because you want to break down my walls of protection. You want to break down my walls and my auras of protection. They have all these schemes, this infinite number of slow dagger schemes that they can come up with, warped masons. How to systematically attack her. Where's her money coming from? How can we take her money away from her so she never eats? How can we make her the weakest she can ever be so that we can get in there and we can tunnel in and we can bind ourselves to her and we can warp ourselves to her, because that is their intention. They want to have these lower lineages that have been told over and over and over again, you're not going to get away from your karma. You will face every deed that you have done. It doesn't matter if you choose not to believe it. Everything that you try and do to bind yourself to me so that you're going to get out of your karma, it will not work. Your time is up. You have all been told. You had 3 years to make right and you chose not to. You had 3 years to return my birth information and you chose not to. You were given 3 years to be a bigger person and to show that your soul's evolution, your soul's progression was important, and you chose not to. You sealed the fate of your lineage. And therefore, thus then, you will be taken away from my garden. This is my garden now, with conviction of the divine heavens and the Mother and the Father God, as I stated in my last videos and I've been stating for the last 3 years. Those that run secret and dark occult practices where you interfere with purpose, with intention, with money, with malice, with inciting of aggression and violence. You have no right to touch anybody else's soul, spirit, regardless of your small, low vibrational, bigoted beliefs about you wanting to get out of your karma, about you wanting to create incestuous families, incestuous covens, where you have a harem of multiple wives and you have a harem of multiple sex partners, and you're passing around diseases with zero care, with zero intelligence, and then you go and wrap up your criminals, and you go and make all of your deeds unseen and unknown by blaming everything on innocent light workers and star seeds, and you cloak the star seeds with debaucherous false claims, with pornography claims, with all the horrible things that have done on my name. So not only do we have to survive your crimes and your 2,000 attacks on my life in a 50-year period where I've been hexed on every fabric of my soul and every fabric of my chakras, every fabric of my being, and every fabric of timelines. Not only have you tunneled into the Akashic, not only have you broken every spiritual law, not only have you broken every spiritual law that will ever be made in the future of spiritual laws, you've actually done the most disregard for your lineage. You've done the most disregard for everybody that you've ever come with, you ever will come with, because you will never incarnate again. These people that run such egregious, horrible, degrading human hunger game cults and covens and the elites of the top businesses, I'm calling you out. You are under judgment. You will not continue as a leader. Your businesses will fail. The legions and the ancestors will block every penny that you will ever have to make any money. Every time you incite pain and interference on the innocent, any time that you incite pain and voodoo and sacrificing, and you are luring and you are grooming children to be your sex minions, to be your demons, to be your targets of hate and discrimination, anything that you do to the interference of the sacred, you are being called out and you will be stopped. The legions and the ancestors and the spiritual realms watch everything that you do, and it has been determined, those that have been continually taking out, sabotaging, systematically abusing the innocent, you are done. Your time is up. Your time is up. There will be no discussions about how your confessions are going to change, how I feel about things. I walk with Anubis. I've been here for a very specific reason. I was playing bait to be the bait for all of those egregious, misogynistic, bigoted people of church and state that refuse to heal, that refuse to see what they have done and the harm they have caused, the damage they have caused, the absolute abhorrence to sacred children, every trafficking ring on this planet. You are under suspension. You are under judgment. Everyone involved will find and see their lives being blocked. They will be blocked the same way that you have blocked other people's lives. They will be blocked the same way that you do root work. They will be blocked the same way that you do spell work. They will be blocked the same way that you interfere. They will be blocked the same way that you stalk. They will be blocked the same way that you do things to other people. It's coming back onto you tenfold. And the legions are coming down by the bajillion fold. And everyone that is seen not purely intend to change and alter their course now, it will be seen in your life immediately. Karma will be immediate, and this is my conviction. We have had enough of our planet being taken over by egregious elites that don't care about life. They have been so disconnected from their spirit and their soul. They do not care about soul's evolution. They do not care about spirit. They do not care about anything but getting their money and using innocent sacred life for sex and debauchery. If you refuse to heal those wounds that make you think that anything like that is okay, and why you do it in secret, and why you do it in pretend, and why you have affiliated businesses, and why you hide, and why you have minions, and why you have cults and covens that do your dirty work. Because you know it's wrong, because you know it's illegal on every fucking level. It's criminally illegal, it's human rights illegal. There is no liberty that states that you can sell a child for sex. There is no liberty that would ever say that these things are okay, and you all know it. And it's judgment time. Judgment, judgment, judgment. The elites have been told, and they've done nothing to make anything right. I haven't received one penny. I haven't received one apology. I haven't received anything about the defamations and the fabrications and the falsifications and the accusations that have been done on my life since day one. And I've done nothing but bring healing and love and higher vibrational wisdoms to this planet. And I've been treated less than dirt. The only reason why I'm here is because of the hand of God lifted me. That's the only reason. There's been no human lift me on this planet. Gaia is a garden of sacred life. There's more codes in Gaia that will allow us to transcend and be the highest vibrational beings in our galaxy. We are going to be the highest creational beings in our galaxy. Those that so choose will harmonize in their higher self and their spirit, and they will balance their divine feminine and divine masculine, divine feminine energies. If you choose to be on the path of eternal life, that's your job, is to be the highest spiritual being that you can be through joy and love and honor and sacredness and allowing people to be who they can be. Leave people alone, stay in your own lane, you got lots to do. Anybody that interferes through a cult or coven or group or hate group or organized network, organized elite people that pay people to silence people, you don't have a right. and you are being called judgment. Your life will be affected by the heavens and by your ancestors, by the guides and by the legions, because you've been given enough warning, and you're still doing crass, ignorant, abhorrent, illegal acts every day. You will be pulled. That includes for every church person that says that they are righteous and then goes home and touches on children, is involved in the trafficking industry, is involved in the black web, is involved with taking out light workers because you don't agree with how we see God. This is a multiverse, dear lighted beings. I'm a multiverse being and I can speak of God in my multiverse way. You don't have a right. Low vibrational, bigoted people that think that their money and their beliefs are meant to be the way. It isn't. It's a very low umbrella, like going into a mall and going into that one store. You can have your belief all you want. Be in your little tiny box all you want. And if you choose to continue touching on children and running trafficking rings and running illegal churches that say you're guiding people when you're actually harvesting their energy and you're actually abusing their energy and you're actually abusing laws and you're actually abusing people and you're actually being warped and dark and demonic, if you choose to do that, you will be shifted. You don't have the power anymore. You are no longer in the commandmentship of you because spirit is now taking over. We've said enough is enough. We've given everybody ample time. We've given everybody ample information. We've been the highest vibrational healings and wisdoms and healings and teachings and light wisdoms. And I'm continually being suppressed. I'm continually being attacked. I'm continually being silenced. I should already be living my best life, traveling around the world, teaching and healing people en masse. That is the Father's plan. And every day I am met with illegal stalking, spying, tacking, hacking, sabotage to my finances. And there are groups and there are people by the billions fold. Look at it online. The black web is $1 billion business and there are elites running it. And if this is the case, this is thy last gavel. God hath spoken. You will not continue by egregiously, abhorrently, mafia-like running your business by hurting and harming and attacking and killing people. If killing people, the human hunger games, interfering, blocking, sabotaging, bringing voodoo and death and sacrifice to people because you think that's a belief that is your compass, you will be shifted. Nobody has the right to sacrifice any for their own selfish, ignorant, abhorrent, misguided, misinformed, low vibrational, low consciousness, absolutely incredibly low consciousness beliefs. There's nowhere in any spiritual ranking where it says you're going to sacrifice an innocent child so that you can continue running your sex ring. The abuses have been abhorrent. And there has been few humans coming forward to say, we are going to make this right. This is going to change today. Because every human liberty has been raped. For a divine feminine master healer, for a divine feminine Messiah, for a divine feminine sister of the Christ, for a divine feminine Christed consciousness teacher, healer, leader, packed with codes, angelic healer, earth angel, for a hybrid, high consciousness being as myself, and there are many things that I am that I haven't even tapped into, and the Father God will lift me and keep lifting me because the Father God will say, thy daughter is thy word, and the garden deserves greater seed. There will no longer be leaders that incite war and violence and trafficking as a way of business. It isn't. It never was, and it never will be. If that is the earth that you choose, you will not be on this garden, and you will not be welcome in my garden. How important is your soul's evolution? You will no longer be allowed to be a white-collar criminal in a system, be it church, be it business, be it bank, be it medical office, be it judicial office, be it policing office. If you are involved in white-collar crime, and you absolutely know you are, because you've taken money, you've agreed to take money, you've agreed to take bribes, you've agreed to make paperwork, you've agreed to do egregious illegal things, to enforce false narratives. That is illegal white-collar crime, and you know who you are. Your lives will be blocked. Your lives will be sabotaged equally until you make it right. Go to the authorities and speak of what you know, because those elites that have been directing, paying you will not have your back. or sit and do nothing, and you will still be moved because you have not made right on your soul's deeds. None will move forward to 5D consciousness until you redeem your soul. And that is each and individual up to each and every one of you. And these are divine messages of the heavens. There is no longer going to be corrupt, warlocked, warped, egregious, harmful, hateful people that get free rides off star seeds and ride on the backs of those that are true healers, that are true messengers, that are true messiahs, and you will go down. I will not be bound. I will not be karma dumped. I will not be tricked and voodooed, and there will be no man that will be sent towards me that is infected with a disease and have sex with me, my God, as if I didn't have a brain of and mind of my own. The games and the plots and the schemes and the agendas are premeditated murder. It's criminal abuse, 15 years to life in prison. And then maybe that will give you some time to think. Maybe I'm not God. Maybe I don't have to tell people what to do and where to go and how to do it because I'm interfering with people's lives and I don't really have a right. Because I'm of love consciousness, I don't know what their soul blueprint is, and I'm not playing God. These cults and these covens have to be investigated at a global level for those of you that are high consciousness, for those of you that are Interpol investigators, for those of you that are on the right side of justice. This is your last chance. Those that are under the arms and the umbrella of Archangel Michael for the assistance of moving humanity 5D, there needs to be global investigations immediately. These individual city communities, cults and covens that are directed by the elites, that are brainwashed, and that are MK Ultra, Project Stargates, and other Hunger Game human projects. These have to be investigated immediately. And there needs to be absolute criminal court cases brought forward immediately. Who are the elites that are paying secret societies to target innocent humans, starseed children that are being studied and targeted, and then used and abused for human testing programs, as I was. These to be investigated immediately. They need to be pulled and plucked immediately. It's going on. Human Hunger Games are going on now. And the elites and the officials and the false-ass leaders and the false-ass people that stand in front of pulpits and say that they are righteous while they are involved in such egregious programs because they want to control and dominate and they refuse to change, they refuse to evolve, they refuse to allow humanity the liberties that we do, that we are universal beings and we have the right to evolve beyond 3D low vibrational barbaric consciousness. It's the lowest in our galaxy, and it's abhorrent. It is more abhorrent than Epstein, which has been incited, egregious, grooming into trafficking. And this is the highest hope we see for our children. Although you speak a different speech when you're in front of people, but behind closed doors, this is what you do. You groom. You groom children to be sex trafficked. You groom children to be demonized and weaponized. How dare you? You're not a leader anymore. You will be pulled. The time is up. There's no more time. There is no more window. This is my word of conviction today. All that was taken and raped and stolen from me and withheld from me, informations, properties, monies, and mail, everything that was in my name is used in my name in a negative way. Each and every one of you will get karma, and there's no way back. Falsified birth information, falsifies documents. Anybody that has been touching my life in a negative way, you're getting karma. There is no way back. Your time is up. Businesses and elite companies that have been silencing me on purpose, your time is up. You're not welcome in my garden anymore. There will be activities, there will be actions from here on out. Father has given me permissions. Father has given me credence. The heavens have given me credence as a God that I am, as a creator God that I am, as initiated with all world leaders. I have word, and my ranking is. There will be no more trafficking. These rings will be pulled. We will begin healing systems and houses for healing, and they will be run by people that are righteous, and they will be run by people that are trained for healing. They will be run by those that are aligned with their higher selves and the sacred Trinity, because they actually care about how they play on this planet. And they're not going to use children for money. They're not going to use children for sex. They're not going to use children for abhorrent game testing so that they can be used in Epstein-like agendas and little Epstein-like warlike little tribes of little minion warlike people. How dare you? How dare your little mafias of the back forest think that you're going to lure children and groom them to be your weaponized little minions to do your hate crimes and take out villages? How dare you? Your time is up. You're not going to come back into a 3D body because there ain't no more 3D timelines. This is just higher knowledge. It doesn't matter if you believe it or not. You're going to sit in your realm of, you're going to sit in your realm of darkness. You're going to sit in your realm of arrogance and ignorance. Nobody has a right to groom children to be weapons. Nobody has the right to groom children to be sex toys. And the black web will be pulled. So those people that truly care about their evolution, those people that truly care about being on a new planet, those people that truly care about life, you're going to be a part of the puzzle of fixing and healing and creating, transforming, highest creativity, highest timelines, and we're going to get these things that have been done of the most egregious experiences of Hunger Games and hunting humans down that has been so ignorant and blasphemous and barbaric. How dare you call yourself a leader or a righteous person in any way? You are not ranked and you're being brought down. This is my word. I claim my birthright to be of the highest universal healing, teaching, and leading that I am, of the Christhood, of the initiates, through Mother, Father, God, and God will lift me. It matters not your beliefs. I don't care about your beliefs. These are the laws and the rules of higher order. Spiritual courts have been running 24/7, and there has not been anything that has been done to be made right on my behalf. I've received not a penny. There are continual lies and false accusations made on my name. I am not in any way crazy or insane. I am not in any way a porn person. I have never been in any porn videos. I never would be. I'm not on fans only, OnlyFans. I don't sell my body in any way. I've never given permissions in any way. I've never signed anything but my divorce papers. Anything that has been done in my name has been falsely accused, has been falsely signed, and false documents on every level in every way. I haven't been given any rights on my birthright information, on where I was born and with whom I was born with and the programs I was born with, because they're still refusing to be accountable. Thus then, your karma is now. There is no more time. Time is up. There will be no more abuse on my name. And if it is, you have absolute honor in your right to be demised in your own way. Everybody has been told, I am the Ark of the Covenant. Anything that is used in blasphemy against my name, it matters not your small beliefs. I still have my right to bring the messages forward for Divine Gaia, the jewel of the galaxy. She will move forward in her ascension. Those that are universal beings, those that are star seeds, those that are innocent beings that are being attacked every day, that are being cloaked every day, that are being voodooed every day, that are being trafficked every day, that are being systematically abused every day, that are being suppressed every day. Every divine woman, every divine aboriginal, every divine indigenous person, every divine disenfranchised person, you are no longer disenfranchised, you are liberated. I liberate you now. There will be no more harm to the children, there'll be no harm to this planet. And if you don't like it, that's your problem. You're going to be sat aside, and your life and your systems and your businesses and your affiliates and your moving children back and forth to make you money will be stopped, and it will be blocked on every level. The legions and the spirit realm have had enough. You will not say that you speak of God, and then you go and blaspheme and you defame and you attack and you try and take out the innocent people that actually are God-aligned. How dare you? And God is going to sit each and every one of you down, and I'm one of the messengers. Has nothing to do with religion. It has to do with unity consciousness. There's always a higher umbrella. Get out of your box. If you don't want to get out of your box, you stay there. You're not going to have the right to anybody else. Your time is up. You don't have a right to criminally attack, to premeditated attack, to take somebody's life and damage it from every morsel that that person has, physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, in her work, in her vocation, in every ounce that she puts out into creation of goodwill and good intention. There are 10s and 50s and 20 and groups of 5 and 10. There are groups of people that systematically are obsessed with relentlessly taking her down and making her go away and stop. This is abhorrence. These people, again, as I said, Interpol investigations, because of how these people act and behave, there is brainwashing and there is direction going on in these cults and covens. Because it's demonic, it makes no sense whatsoever. It transcends basic common human sense that somebody and these people would act and behave in the way that they do, and they would cross every human law and every human liberty. In basic common sense, these people behave as utter directed demons. And this has to be investigated. Who are the demons that are directing these cults and covens to go out and absolutely hunt down starseeds? Who are these beings? Who are these elites? You're coming down. Your time is up. Any program, any agenda that hunt down star seeds, that hunt down vibrant children, that hunt down indigo children, that hunt down the children and use them for blasphemy purposes, whether it's sex, whether it's organs, whether it's teaching them to do your version of remote viewing and your version of dark occultism and your version of grooming, you're coming down. You don't have a right to interfere with sacred life. These children are on the planet to take humanity into higher consciousness. You don't have a right to bring your darkness and your hate. Your time is up. You're not invited into my garden any longer. You're not going to be invited anymore. Everybody's been given the opportunity, the time, and the consciousness and the direction. They've been spoon-fed how to heal. They've been spoon-fed how to make right. They've been spoon-fed every opportunity for 3 years or more. It's not rocket science, do unto others, and why they do everything in the dark, and why they pay their minions, and why there's so much corruption, and why they make up false documents, and why they make up false court cases and accusations and claims, because they know they're wrong, because they know they're blasphemous, because they know that they're illegally doing what they do. Therefore, thus then, you will be brought down, because the heavens are always watching. And I'm one of these messiahs on the planet that will come and show you. The only reason why I survived is because there is a God, the Mother and the Father. There are heavens, and there is a plan for humanity. There are ascension plans, there are ascension agendas to take humanity into 5D, those that so desire. If you don't desire, then just sit where you sit, and your life will unfold in the non-caring way that it is. If you care about your soul, you will be on that highest timeline. And just allow your spirit guides and your teams to guide you. Heed the voice of spirit deep within you. That's all you have to do. It's very simple. It's not rocket science. Do unto others. Stay out of people's lanes and make sure that you're healing yourself and bringing balance every day. And what is bringing balance? You are divine feminine. You are divine masculine. Release discrimination and heal. What are your issues? Heal. If you're being triggered, heal. That's your commandmentship. That's your responsibility. You're not meant to walk around like a broken person hurting people. Everybody has to take responsibility and accountability. There are very profound elite companies and organizations and very important people that claim to be so very important that will take out and kill anybody that also claims to be of a spiritual importance, not having any relationship to religion, because I'm under a bigger umbrella. I am a multiverse being of light. I am a Messiah, and I'm going to speak as I speak for the Mother, Father, God, and the divine plan to move Ascension forward. I am the ground crew. I'm going to walk as many people through the gates that so desire to go through those 5D gates and have eternal life. We have our right to learn about light. We have our right to learn about the universe. We have our right to be with our celestial families. We have our right to grow better gardens. We have our right to be eternally healthy. We have our right to be eternally youthful. We have our right to be without disease. We have our right to have our children safe. We have our right to live on this planet freely and safely without being stalked and hit. And when I say hit, I mean killed, because that's the intention of these hate groups. You can believe in whatever you want to believe, but you don't interfere with anybody else's life. That's the new global law. That is the law of this universe. Right use of free will and non-interference. Do whatever it is that you want to do, but don't interfere, and you're going to be on the vibrational planet that you choose. If you choose to operate from hate, you're going to be on that planet of hate. And you will go into extinction because nothing will grow and survive on hate. That's just a basic quantum law. If you want to say you're intelligent, oh dark ones, perhaps look at the universal laws. And why do we have universal laws? But because we're beings of the universe. They actually matter scientifically. So now we're saying nothing will be held back anymore. The universal laws will be full force. Your spirit guides will not protect you anymore. Those that have been acting and behaving egregiously, you will not be protected. You will not be safeguarded. You will be moved in the exact vibration that you behave within. Period, point blank. That's quantum karmic law. It actually matters how you play in this planet. It matters how you play in creation. And if you don't get the basic laws, and if you don't care about unity consciousness, if you don't care about your fellow human, if you don't care about your body, you have the right to behave how you will, but you will not interfere with other people's lives. And if you do, karma immediately. That goes for anybody else that you try to interfere with, to try and take their gifts, to take their skills, to swap their destiny, to bind them to you because you don't want to deal with your karma. You're going to deal with your karma. And Anubis and I see you, and we see your deeds, and the scales are so imbalanced, and enough is enough. The time is up. Return what you stole. Go to the authorities and go give statements of exact truth. The only way out is pure intention to clear your karma. What is pure intention? You cannot fib, you cannot lie, you cannot blame it on somebody else, you cannot scapegoat somebody else. Pure intention is for me to clear this debt, for me to clear this lie, for me to ever have an incarnational body ever again. This is where we sit with humanity on this precipice. You either get soul progression, you either get the incarnational laws and rules. There are higher order spiritual laws. It doesn't your smaller box belief store beliefs are. It doesn't matter what your religious beliefs are. If you have not earned 5D consciousness, you will not return. There is no more 3D timeline on planet Earth. Do you care about your soul's evolution? Do you care about what you are sealing the fate for your children? Or are you that hateful and ignorant that you're going to take whatever you take with you down? Which again, you will remain in hell because you don't have a right to affect other people's lives. And if you choose not to make right, if you choose not to bring truth, if you choose not to bring to the authority of what has been happening in your secret cults and covens, if you choose not to tell you who's been directing these hits and who's been paying you to hurt people, you will not be redeemed on any level in any way. The time is up. Time is up, humanity. Time is up. You cannot go about hurting, harming, taking people out, trafficking these innocent children that are here to raise the vibration of our planet and our galaxy. You don't have a right. Judgment. And everyone that has been choosing from free will to stand and take guard on the planet and be ambassadors of light and be ambassadors of peace and be ambassadors of healing, stand up and celebrate you are in the 5D gates. And you will be celebrated with rainbows, and you will be celebrated in the feast that only Mother Father can provide for you. You have done your job by being loyal servants of love and peace and creativity. And no matter how many times you were thrown down, you got back up. And that is being righteous, because you act in peace and you act in brave courageousness to say and do what is right. It is not okay that children are abused every day. My goodness, humanity, wake up. You will not be back on another planet in another body if you think these things are okay. It simply is not. Human testing and human experimenting programs are illegal. It's not okay. Alter course, time is up. And if you choose not to, and if you choose to still be arrogant, if you choose to be misogynistic, if you choose to still be hateful, that is where your heart will reside and you will be shifted. Because the two realms will not have a quantum match. Hate and love are two different expressions, and they cannot exist within the same heart. You either choose to love and heal yourself and clear your karma, to show the heavens, to show creation, to show your soul family, to show your soul lineage, that you care about where you're going next. And it's up to the heavens and all spiritual courts and the karma board and Mother Father to determine what happens next with your soul. But if you're choosing to do no right, if you're choosing to still attack and do spell work, if you're choosing to still refuse to make right and give the monies that you've stolen, to give the statements that you need to give, if you're refusing to do this, then you will sit where you were sit. You've chosen your fate. Therefore, thus then, it is your choice. The Father has been so very gracious. And this is true spiritual higher order, dear lighted ones. You are a soul and you belong to the all that is. All that you do affects all that is. So if you're being hateful and taking out and harming people and interfering with people and holding people back, you're holding everything back. There has been such stagnancy, and it's done, it's over. We are moving forward, and there will be a trajectory. There will be the rubber band effect, make no mistake about it. We've been held back for far too long. The crimes have been far too egregious. The criminal effects have been far too egregious. The elites have been far too egregious. Every elite that has been a part of these games, you have a chance right now, alter course. Take your stories to the authorities, make right where you can, give the monies back that you have taken and suppressed and withheld, and you should not be paying platforms of social platforms to silence those people that are bringing light. How dare you? Redeem your own souls and make it right. That is the only way, and God will see, God will know, because God's inside of you, the very purity of your intention. And if there is no purity of intention, then you will sit where you were sitting. Your soul will be decided through God and your own soul. That is the soul progression. That's just how it goes. Thank you, Holy Mother Father. Thank you for the energy and the conviction that I'm speaking through today. So we're going to read a few beautiful poems through Atticus. I love his poetry. So I'm going to inspire, and then we're just going to quickly get on with the godliness. Some days she was the flower, and some days she was the storm, but always she was the meadow, and it is the meadow that I love. I love his poetry. Her soul was a garden, blooming with hope, and with each new day, she tended to its weeds and wounds, bringing it ever slowly back to life. Again, that's the churning, that's the alchemy. She never saw the beautiful girl who everybody else seemed to see. All she saw were the scars and imperfections screaming back at her in the mirror. That she would never be enough, that she could never be beautiful. And she always wondered why the whole world would lie to her, and only this mirror would tell her the truth. And these are the things that all the children in our world today, and we talked about the other day in our video about the projections and about how women are objectified and projected in her various roles and careers. And so that's a beautiful poem, and it brought a little bit of a tear to my eyes. So I'll just read it one more time. She never saw the beautiful girl who everybody else seemed to see. All she saw were the scars and imperfections screaming back at her in the mirror. She would never be enough, that she could never be beautiful, and she always wondered why the whole world would lie to her, and only this mirror would tell her the truth. And that's Atticus. I love his book, and its book is LVOE. This is volume 2. And I just to say that poem because this morning I had a beautiful moment with the Father, and the Father was telling me about godliness, and I was having this discussion with God about how can I bring forward the idea of divine feminine being godly, because I'm already being attacked right now being the divine feminine Messiah. Stepping into my power and claiming my power as being a godly creator. I've been here many times. I've been a part of the original creator gods. If you go back and you do any of your research about the original creator gods, if you go to the Enlightenment communities and read about the original creator gods, usually back in the 80s and the early 90s, there was a lot of higher vibrational creators that were writing good works about this. And the creator gods have been with us since the beginning of time. It was always meant that way. It was always in the divine plan that the Father had. And these people, these beings would come forward with higher consciousness, just as Jesus would, just as Melchizedek, just as Saint Germain, and all of these beautiful masters that have been on the planet, Buddha, Kuan Yin. All of these are beautiful creator gods. Kuan Yin was a creator god. Isis, goddess Isis, was a creator god. All of these beings are Akhenaten, all of these Egyptian gods that come forward in time at various times and spaces and places to insert and activate Christ consciousness. The Christ consciousness is what's held within all of our Gaia grids. Christ consciousness is what's held within all of our DNA, and with every one of your chakras holds a Christ consciousness activation. As you're going through and you're integrating all of these soul fragments, you get to activate those various aspects of you that are ready. Now, what makes up a human divine soul blueprint? You have a blueprint, which is your sacred trinity. You are here with a beautiful puzzle, a beautiful design of who you are as godliness, as your eternal life aspect, as the divine feminine, divine masculine energies within you, and why your DNA is also made up of those two strands. Those two strands through that DNA, it's made up more strands. I'm just saying the two strands that looks like the DNA that I always draw, right? Like that, right? There's always the two that combine, and it is meant to be the divine feminine, divine masculine, like the kundalini, right? The snake of the kundalini. And I might not have time to talk about it today, but we're going to talk about what I talked about is the godliness and the DNA consciousness of Earth, because we're creating a new template, substrates. We talked about in our previous videos about substrates, the omnipresent substrates. This is what they showed me as the imprint with Toth last week about the consciousness of the DNA. The consciousness, when I say consciousness, it's a real vibration. Consciousness, you can feel your hands vibrate. You can feel your chakras rotate. If you're tuned into your body, you can actually feel your chakras rotate. You can feel the chakras, the axional points on your fingers and your hands, and how we can do healing. These are actual real essences. And when I'm a vibrational teacher healer, I'm a conduit. This is what, when I say consciousness, it's actually felt. Consciousness is felt. Consciousness activates those DNA codons. It's a vibrational light and song and sound. As a vibrational toner, when I create songs and sounds and tones and light language, it actually breaks the density and brings light to this. This is why sound and song and tones and harmonics are so important. So we're going to be doing a lot more to awaken the collective and to feed the collective and to nourish the collective with sacred sounds and tones. So again, our entertainment field is going to go in a whole bunch of new areas because it's needed. Our genius is just being awakened right now, and it's so exciting that we're at this precipice of such wonderful, incredibly dynamic pathways and portals that we're all opening, because we're now realizing and we're becoming into the full claim. When you get into your 51% of your higher self, that is when you're standing in your full acceptance, acknowledgement, and allowance that you are godly. So this is what I want to do this video today. Godliness is when you've reached that 51% and God has given you the walking through the gates, you're in eternal life. And I just want to cry because it's so fucking profound. The profundity of all that you have been through time, all that you have been in a 3D experience, and how profound it is to go through 51% of your experiences, if you will, if you just say 51 lifetimes. All of these experiences are for you to churn and to alchemize and say, I can do this. I'm actually choosing to be godly. I'm actually choosing that I can be eternal life. I'm actually choosing that I can have my health be eternally under my power and my commandmentship. I'm releasing all of the smaller beliefs that I've been putting myself in these cattle experiences where you're just moving from one other's beliefs and programs and not really your own. So that's what's meant by godlyhood. So every person, every human has a set of teams, right? And we'll use these comic books visuals as an idea. The higher self is always with you on the other side of all that is spirit. And in this physical representation, you have a matter body. Your matter body is also equally entwined with soul essence, with Christed essence, with cosmic essence, alien essence, spirited essence. How humanity has become in the very separations and discriminations and bigotedness and the harms and the dangers that are done to innocent life is because of the disconnection. So why we say that every day part of your ascension pathwork is bringing reconnection, which is the alignment. I'm in alignment with my higher self. I'm going to reconnect and bring relationship of spirit back. So bringing the relationship of spirit back into everything that you are, thought, word, and deed. It's not just about going to church. That's not just the essence of bringing relationship back. Relationship is thought, word, and deed. Your body is a vessel of God, the image of Divine Mother and Divine Father, and it's harmonizing and healing those wounds so that every day you're bringing a greater relationship, a commandmentship, bring your harmony, greater balance into who you are as a divine being. Therefore, you're balancing out your divine feminine masculine energy. You're balancing out the kundalini. You will start to feel the kundalini move up the spine, and it does move like an S. It does move like an S, just like your DNA. Everything is mirrored in creation, the spiral, the Fibonacci sequence, all of these things are God's divine. This is why I think if you understand higher consciousness and you see how profoundly incredible God has designed you, any one codon is a miracle. If you understand what goes in one codon and when it's activated, it's unbelievably, dynamically, impossibly, miraculously designed. How could we not be godly? So we're bringing these ideas of, and when you first heard me say this morning that, oh, we're becoming godly, we're going to talk about God today, and there's some people that automatically, I felt the energy, there's some people that automatically say, well, who the heck are you to say you're godly? Because they're sitting in such low vibrations, that's where they choose to be. But no, when you actually consider the miracle of life and how come we've treated life so abhorrently, one codon and how it's designed, any one baby that makes it to its birth is amazing. It is a miracle of life. And we've taken the importance and the sacredness out of it. We've conformed to such lower aberrations, and it's not okay anymore. So they showed me that these sheaths, the sheaths of the substrates, because the higher consciousness is now bathing Gaia, because there are certain of us creator gods that have been activated on our DNA to a certain percentage, and that's up to God. I don't want to know and I don't care. God is saying it's time for you to step in your godlyhood. I said, okay, I accept my role. I claim my importance. I claim my value. I claim my power. I reclaim all that I am as a God. And so that's why Toth was showing me that the planet consciousness, the substrates that she sits within, the vibrational substrates, the dimensional substrates, the realm substrates, those invisibly unseen things that bathe light, that bathe codes from the galaxy, because the galaxy is going through also another Kundalini awakening, right? Because everything is micro macro. Whatever happens on the planet, whatever happens in the body, whatever happens in the smallest codon, it happens in a micro macro experience. Because it's a holographic experience. And so it is it's like an osmosis of sheaths of your oversoul that's coming to place over top of your body. And that oversoul, like the sheaths of your oversoul, place codes of light over parts of your body that activate, again, all of your multidimensionality. Because when you're activated, it's a multidimensional experience. You're activated in your DNA, you're activated in your physical body, you're activated in what you know, you're activated in talents, skills, and wisdoms. You're activated at a multidimensional level. That's what your activations mean. Your activations are multidimensional. And how is it multidimensional? Through the Christ consciousness. The Christ consciousness is what exists within the water body and why there's been so much damage with our water. Because there are beings and there are agendas that know the water body is how we carry the Christ consciousness. That's why there are some of the dark occults and covens, and they've been using children because they do carry a higher vibration. And they've been using these children in very abhorrent ways, and their time is up. All of these cults and covens, all of these egregious trafficking rings, all of these experiences are coming down. Their time is up. No more. You're not invited in our garden anymore. You're going to be moved out. You've done absolutely nothing to make it right. There is no more egregious acts against sacred life. It is a miracle of life for us to be here. Our bodies are miracles of godliness. Our temples are images of godliness. And it's up to each person to go within. How important is your soul's evolution? The windows and the doors are closing, as we've been saying, and we can't keep going with this open policy for everybody to continue doing what they're doing and never making right on the souls that you have hurt and harmed. There's no reason why it should have taken creation, the people on this planet, the agendas and the groups, there's no way it should have been taken this long for anybody to make right what has been done to me. Money should have been returned, birth documents should have been returned, and there should be letters of apology. And appropriate documentation of my ID and the monies in my bank accounts should have already been done. So obviously there is no care for these people and where they go, and they are sealing the fate of their families. And that's their choice because they have been given warnings, and I am the messenger. It's not my fault if you don't believe me. That's your own choice. God has shown each and every one of you in your dreams. God's showing each and every one of you in your daily lives. I speak truth, and I speak the message of the heavens. This is the Father's plan for humanity to move forward. There is no 3D anything that will stop ascension. And if you choose to do so, your time will be up and demise every day. And slowly but surely, you'll be taken out by your own ancestors and by your own teams and guides, because enough is enough. God has said enough. The gavel hath fallen. Spiritual courts have been spoken. There will be arrests that will be made for every egregious act, every illegal act, every inhumane act of abuse of power that has been done in every court, every policing company, every business. You know if you're doing white-collar crime. You know if you're interfering with people's lives. And if you're bringing innocent people down because of your selfish agendas, you absolutely know that you will get karma. And if you choose not to make it right, then you will sit where you will sit. How important is your incarnation next time? Because there won't be a next time. It is that important. Do you care about those next to you? Do you care about life? Do you care about coming back into a body? Do you care about higher consciousness? Do you care about your children and where they go? Do you care about children not being used as sex slaves? I care. This is my garden. Time's up. I am a divine feminine. I am a divine God. I am a creator God. I am in a divine feminine goddess body. I'm highly intelligent. I'm not going to go anywhere. This is my garden. And the weeds will be pulled because you don't deserve to be in the status and the state that you are while you take out innocent life. How dare you? And it's a wake-up call. We are ascending beyond what has been abhorrent: discrimination, bigotry, and corrupt systems. The systems will be fixed because we're going into higher intelligence. They must be. There is no need for broken systems with the intelligence possibilities that we have. There's no need for it. Every crime committed on this planet is 100% unnecessary and healable. And leaders that do not take light wisdom seriously, they will be shifted. The only way forward is through light intelligence. How important is your spirituality? How important is your soul's evolution? Who are you? What's going on within you? And if you're being triggered, then heal those triggers. There is always a higher umbrella. There is always higher order. The spiritual courts are always being run, and everybody is being watched. And your souls are presenting your life's story. Are you going to tune in? And are you going to be a co-creator, consciously aware? Are you going to align your chakras? Are you going to align with the greater good? Are you going to align do unto others? It's very simple and very basic. Heal yourself. It's the ego and the ego wounding and the childhood woundings that are refusing to be healed, that the hate and the discrimination and the separation. And then I said to Interpol investigations, there needs to be global investigations on those cults and covens and the secret little mafias and the secret little groups that are being directed by elites, by higher order governments. Those need to be investigated. Those are the most egregious, and they will have the most, as Father said, they will have the most highest consequence because they know better, they're paid to do better, and they choose not to do better. How dare you? How dare you do such with the people's money? There is no government agenda that is here to create human hunger games and pay for it, and to pay secret cults and societies to target higher intelligent beings, and light workers. We are here to bring humanity into higher consciousness. Nobody plays God. And so in this beautiful experience that I had with Source this morning, I was asking about godliness and getting, allowing the terms and the ideas of we're moving into higher evolution. There's nothing more important than our spiritual evolution. The spiritual evolution in this particular ideology of ascension is to integrate 51% of your soul fragments. Then you become in alignment with your absolutely soul is with your higher self. Your higher self actually becomes a fusion with you. It becomes osmosis. And when I say sheaths, that is what we're talking about. These sheaths of the oversoul, they press upon the casing of you because you're in an 8-foot field and you have a physical human body with axonal lines, vibrational lines. We talked about that with trans. The energies are moving back and forth in your body, becoming whole and fused. The more that you understand the flow of energy, the more that you understand who you are as an energy being, the more that you understand about your chakra systems, your fields. You have a causal field, you have a cosmic field, you have an emotional field, you have a vibrational field. There's so many fields that you sit within. As these vibrational beings are integrated, it accesses greater light. The higher self and the oversoul say, okay, we're going to put a sheath upon her. It's a vibrational sheath. It's like osmosis, just like osmosis here. It's micro, macro. Comes and sits on top of your fields and the bodies, and it then activates you, and you then are creating different symptomologies, as I said earlier. The last set of Ascension upgrades that I had, the level up that I talked about 3 or 4 videos ago, my galactic third eye, which sits right at the brow line, which is right at the hairline, I've got this halo around my head, and there's a protective veil around me right now because they're doing lots of work and downloads with my crown chakra. Because I am a God, it's important that I stay protected, as I've been telling you the last few videos, because there's been so many attacks on my life and there's been so much 24/7 attacks. That there's extra protection around me, but that part of the symptomologies about that sheath was to have this become active. So my physical body is becoming more and more vibrational, which means that it's really exciting because I can give higher vibrational classes, higher vibrational teachings. My videos are higher vibrational. My videos offer more codes. And when I'm standing in front of people, they get more of my codes and activations. So I'm becoming more and more vibrational. So that's what I just wanted to talk about, is what this osmosis and what the Thoth was showing me about the consciousness of even one person affecting the substrates, the fields, which we said a while ago in our videos. I just bring things back to correlate. I bring things back to rethread and remind all of you what we've already talked about. The substrates of the planet are becoming more and more quantumly higher activated in 5D light. And it is the dream of God for all humanity to be given their birthright to integrate their 51% of their godliness. All of these aspects of shadow are very needed for you to become your godliness of your higher self, to be fully activated, to be fully integrated, to be fully harmonized as your higher self. You need these shadow aspects. They teach you very valuable lessons. As I've been telling you and giving you stories about my soul's ascension and the understanding of the very complex, the very intricate, the very dynamic, beautiful design of what a soul blueprint is. Your soul blueprint means that you come with so many different aspects of journeys and experiences throughout all time. You're here to harmonize and integrate all your 3D timelines that have been left in wounding. Wounding of betrayal, wounding in codependency, wounding in selfishness, wounding in gluttony, wounding in abandonment, whatever those woundings are. You're here just to integrate it and to become whole through your alchemy, your acknowledgement, your acceptance, and your allowance to know that you are a higher vibrational being and you can alchemize any wound. That brings you into your full higher self-awareness. Your full higher self-awareness then brings on the oversoul encasing of light. All of the beings that I belong with, like Jesus is my twin ray. So Jesus is a twin ray, is an exact example of me on the other side, and he offers light codes that overlay. That's why they're called oversoul, because they overlay your soul. They overlay the sheaths that you sit within, and it does activate your physical body. You do have different symptomologies in these activations. Like again, my skin is constantly vibrating. I can feel my axonal lines. I do have to work with my energy in different ways by doing sounding and toning. I do tapping, things like that, just to keep the energy moving, because my energy is moving, my body is moving into a different, substrate, right? As I activate my codons, I become higher vibrational. So my substrates around me, this field that is around me is now becoming higher vibrational. So everybody, as they're moving through ascension, as we talked about in many of our videos, are going to have to learn to work with their energies in different ways. Do things that are physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and psychologically helping you become more calm, more balanced, get into nature more. Create your daily path work that allows you to always keep that creative expression. As I said in my last video, as you are expressing yourself creatively, you're automatically healing your emotional body. So whether that's journaling, painting, singing, writing music, you're doing parodies or plays, all of those things are just ways that you express those aspects of yourself that are more difficult or more challenging to have a conversation with or to have that emotional expression with. And then again, it's going to change. This is why it's so exciting. I'm so happy to bring all of these messages forward. And there will be a huge burst. I just feel it, feel a huge energy burst, like right here, a huge energy burst of all the things that we've been stagnant and holding back on. The areas of psychology and psychiatry and all of these areas that have been held back in 3D ways of thinking are now going to take a huge burst forward, and we're going to come up with new ways of healing and understanding who we are as beautiful souls and beautiful dynamic puzzles within creation, that God has a unique divine plan for each and every one of us. So always go within and understand that you are moving into godliness. When you move in and integrate your 51% of your soul fragments, that is what is called by godliness. So part of my storytelling and part of my coming and being an orator for the divine families and the heavenly messages above, the many mansions and the Christ consciousness, and helping humanity move into the 5D gates, is to understand how infinite you are, what the process of ascension is all about, the sacred process of the natural order and the natural evolution, the soul's progression, and how important it is for you to take commandmentship of it, to step outside of the matrix, to see yourself as a higher vibrational being. There's always a higher umbrella, there's always higher order, and to know that you are absolutely 100% in control, to bring yourself those expansive teachings and honorings and knowings and examples of becoming the highest creative expression that you are as godly. That is godliness. When you are your highest creative expression. And again, go to those beings and go to the comics, go to poetry. Again, Atticus is one of my favorite poets. Khalil Gibran is another famous poet. I've written a few things about him. And then another band that I find creatively genius is Rush. And they have this beautiful book that, and it's like comic book form. They talked about how they were writing their songs and things like that, and how some of their songs get put to, because they have great layering, right? That's what I just love about them, orchestrational layering and how some of their songs come about. And so it's always get yourself inspired by looking at those that craft really well and how they do their crafting, and don't stop crafting. Don't stop the process of being evolutionary. You've got lots of soul fragments. There's infinite things for you to learn and to harmonize. And I'm absolutely looking forward to being within the collective and traveling and bringing higher vibrational healings, teachings, and wisdoms of the Divine Mother and the Father as we unify who we are in a higher vibrational collective, becoming more close with our galactic families and our celestial families. This was a message today to just introduce godliness, introduce in a way that's light and fun and creative, because we are allowing ourselves, those that so desire, to integrate and to continue healing and harmonizing the soul fragments. Once you've done that, then you are considered your full godliness because you've accepted yourself in all your shadow. You've accepted yourself in all your divine feminine and masculine energies, and we're all equal, we're all one. Therefore, thus then, how can each and every one of you see and look and pretend and muse and create new imaginings, new stories of godliness for divine feminine, divine masculine, as well as the children and the elders? Everybody is a part of this collective ride. Everybody is a part of bringing their unique puzzle pieces, their genuine, authentic, creational offering is a miracle. And again, that's why I just love the music so much, because how one song is made and the process that any one creator goes through and one crafter goes through, and their genius to make that happen. When I sit down and I do all my channelings, there's so much that I want to share. There's so many things that I've got written and all of my things, but I just don't have time sometimes. Because there's other messages that want to come through. But Mother Father did say today was an important message. There's going to be lots of changes for those that have refused to do right, for those that have refused to bring right, for those that have refused to repay the monies that have been taken, stolen, and done. So it was an important message. There's going to be things come out in the next 24 to 72 hours, I think the Father said. Yes, Joanna. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So the Father said in the next 72 hours, because there's going to be movement of those that have been the most egregious, that refuse to make right, that know what they've done. We're suggesting everybody go to the authorities with your unique stories, with your unique truth. The purity of heart is the only way that you clear your karma and making right. Bring truth to your soul, bring truth to your chakras, bring truth to your soul story, and make it right. There will be nobody in this collective that will be left untouched. There are spiritual courts that are running 24/7 because they don't go to sleep in the spiritual realms. They see every thought, word, and deed. They see every intention. And when your intention, that's when your karma begins. So if your intention is to make right, if your intention is to bring peace, if your intention is to seed the gardens, if your intention is to bring your highest creativity and peace and healing and to do your very best, that's all that's needed and required. Love yourself. Give to yourself. Treat others as you want to be treated. Honor that the garden is a sacred place and you will have eternal life. It is that simple. It's very simple. But there's been so much wounding, discrimination, separation, the blasphemy and the bigotry of different belief systems, and women being treated horribly, children being treated horribly, our planet being treated horribly for money and greed and gluttony. There's a lot of warping, and the chakras are misaligned. The chakras are not activated. The heart chakra is not even being used or considered. And you cannot be a leader if your heart chakra is not being used. You cannot be a leader without your heart chakra alignment. So this is where the Father did say, there will be changes made. We are moving forward. The ascension path is moving wonderfully. There has been some delays, and it's going to change. There will be no more delays. Those that are meant to be leaders will be leaders. So be ready and be aligned and celebrate. I want everybody to have a beautiful meal tonight. Celebrate the beautiful heavenly buffet that the heavens will place for you and set for you, because you have been devoted on your path of love and light and peace. You've been devoted on your path of seeing the highest and the best for humanity. You've been devoted on your path for knowing that change is coming. Karma is very real. Those that choose to behave in lower hate vibrations, their karma is unfolding. So let karma take care of itself. You don't have to worry about any other person's path or revenge or anything like that. Surrender it to God with intention. I surrender these energies. I surrender this experience and these stories. I choose to move on my highest path. And just simply let it go. Then you go and make right. You bring truth, you bring clarity, you bring closure, and you return monies, you return what was taken, you return what you can. That's how you make it right. That's how you become a soul-infused, aligned being, because you're aligning with the spirit, the higher self. That's what we mean by making it right. You're aligning with your higher self. Your higher self would never ever tell you to do harm to anybody. Your higher self would never ever guide you to steal. Your higher self would never ever tell you to go hurt people. Your higher self would never tell you to do voodoo. Your higher self would never tell you to do these things, because your higher self knows that on the other side, you're all one. Your higher self would never guide you to do voodoo work on people where you're blocking their chakras. Your higher self would never tell you to steal from people when it's not your work. Your higher self would never tell you to go make up fake pages and pilfer other people's work and say it's yours. Because your higher self knows that you have a soul blueprint. Why don't you just do your own work? You've got a genius here. Tap into your own genius. But there's been so many people that, again, have been brainwashed, mind-washed. They have been dogmatically entrained that they're not creative because they've been told to give their belief and their power to other people, other places, other doctrines. And so those are the things healing. And those things are very real. That's why they have to be investigated. Every case has to be investigated. That's why it's so important for people to come forward, talk about systematic abuse, talk about dark occult abuse. We're going to make new laws. Everybody will have some sort of support and protection and aid if they are going through egregious experiences where they're being stalked and coveted and swarmed and suffocated by dark occult users and abusers. And then you need to bring your stories forward, and you need to log everything that happens and surrender it and become into alliance with light. That's the reason why I said I've only survived because of my alliance with light. I have only survived because of the hand of God. I've only survived because of all of my celestial teams. Everybody that I come with my guides that are always changing because they want to be their best, so they go and learn things, and then I have new guides that come in. I have one guide that stays with me all the time, and he's the one that teaches me about DNA and the brain, because he's just destined to be with me forever, he says. And so I love him very much. And he's the 7th dimensional Pleiadian. And so he's ascending as I'm ascending. So he's the one that's responsible for all my codes, and he's the one that's responsible for what I see and what I don't see. He's responsible for veiling. He's responsible for any protections. He's responsible for turning things up and down if I need it. So I deal very closely with him as a conduit. He understands exactly how I feel and how I move through life. It's very important that I have a really close connection with him. There's other guys that come and go, but he is the one that I've found works. I know that it's kind of, I use him as a crutch kind of, because he does understand my coding. He understands me being a conduit is very unique. Not a lot of guides are as entrained and as expert as he is. So if I'm going through an energetic shift, or there's something that they're doing to harmonize me with something, I'm in very close contact with that guide, and I tell that guide what I'm going through and what I feel to turn it up or turn it down. If I need something turned up or turned down, or if I need a resource, or if I need something, then he's the one I go to, because he understands from this human perspective how it feels to be a conduit. Because my role is very important in the multiverse as being a conduit. So he's very, very close with helping me maneuver sensitivities in being a multiverse threader, right? It's not just this one thread I read. I'm reading this whole big soup. So there's some very complex times that I move through, especially with being a collective leader. We're learning to work together, and this is why I say you got to work with your guides. The more closely you are working with your guides, the more what's the word I'm looking for? Adept that you will be. You'll be more efficient. You'll be more well-rounded in your multidimensionality. The more closely you work with guides. This is why I say do your Ascension Pathwork daily. I have 3 books that are on Barnes & Noble and Amazon. 3 books about Ascension. And I'm going to be putting out my 4th book, which is The Alliance with Light, that will talk more in depth. It will be more specific to the daily practices, tips and tools and practices that I do, because every human will have their own senses turned on. This is why I say work with your guides. Your multidimensional fields will be turned on. Your gifts and your skills and your talents will be turned on. How you hear sound, how you hear spirit, how you connect with spirit. Again, when I said that I had my galactic third eye, which is at the hairline, when that turned on, it's like I have a vibrating spiral going around my head. That's how it feels. That's how it physically feels. And my skin is vibrating more. My body is going through higher channel. So this is a really cool thing I wanted to say. I might have a few more minutes. If I can just put this here for a second. There's so many wonderful things I want to explain. So with this activation that I had, and this is what I wanted to say about the omnipresent substrates. We talked about omnipresent, so you can go look that up. I have videos about the substrates, and the omnipresent is changing and shifting because it's higher consciousness light, and I can feel it. I can really, really feel it. It's so very exciting. And this is where your teams are responsible. Your higher self and your guides are responsible for moving you in and out of timelines, and they're helping you move in and out of dimensions and timeline jumping. They do this with me all the time, because I say, why do I feel so different today? What the hell is going on with my fields, and what's going on with my ringing in my ears? Or I talk to my teams about that, and they said, we've just shifted you overnight. It'll just take a day for you to adjust to the new energy. So I say, okay, well, let me know, right? Because I want to know beforehand as opposed to after the effect, right? Because I feel everything, and I'm very aware and I'm very attuned to what my field is and how I operate and how I read energy. So sometimes it is very challenging, and it's very disconcerting, they're saying. I have to look that word up. I don't know what it means, but it's just like, okay, where am I today? So I do have to, I'm getting very good at grounding and anchoring energies very quickly, because I am going to be in front of the collective, and I do have to learn how to work with my energies more efficiently so that I can read more efficiently. I can be with the energies more efficiently. And that's why working with your teams and guides as we're moving into these accelerated energies will help you. Right? You know that everybody is psychic. How you read energy and sense energy or hear energy and work with energy to express energy is going to be each person's unique journey of profound miracles and profound unity and profound love and divine devotion that God has with you. God knows where your strengths are. God knows where your skills, your gifts, your talents are. God knows what brings you the highest level of happiness. And God is here to design that soul's blueprint with you so that you're bringing through this beautiful fire of your expression, and you're bringing this fire element out, and you're being that highest level of creative expression with your gifts, because that's the intention. You have these gifts to express them. You have these gifts to be a full God being, right? Where you're, like, as we talked about in my last video, Commander Ashtar, when you get so proficient with consciousness, you can be from this end of the universe onto the other end of the universe and manifest a beautiful experience with your soulmate on a beautiful planet that you just created from thought. That's the power of consciousness. It's meant to be for benevolence and creativity and exploration and divinehood, and for love and creating and song and expanding creation. And there are those that, yes, part of their soul's journey is to explore the dark side and abuse it, because they help also those that are on the light side know how to better heal, know how to better protect your energy, know how to better stand up for yourself, know how to better stand in your truth, know how to stand better in spirit. So there's always those two sides of that dichotomy. But if you're choosing to move forward in 5D eternal life, There are the basic spiritual laws and the natural order that we all must abide by. If not, then you're going to have those constant instant manifestations of your own fire, right? Because you will be succumbed by yourself. Those are your own energies. It has to go somewhere. If you're conjuring negative, dark energies all the day, it's going to go in your body. Where else would it go? You're conjuring it. You're inciting it. In means in. Where else can it go? That's why many of them are having many mental illnesses and many mental disturbances, because they've been dealing with black magic. Well, where else is it going to go? Black occult, dark occult, black magic, voodoo, conjuring, all of those things, you're inciting it into your own body and your own imbalances. It's challenging enough to go through Ascension and deal with your shadow aspects. Why would you put any more dark pressure on yourself and karmic pressure on yourself to heal and transmute deities and demons that you've called in because you want somebody to, because you're jealous about a gift that they have. So why don't you just work on your own gifts? Again, go within. Anything that you project outward to anybody else, go within. Before you reach out, go within. Because you're always going to ask yourself, okay, then what? Okay, you hurt somebody, then what? You're still going to have to go within. You're still going to have the wounds. So you do a sex magic on somebody, okay, then what? You're still going to have to look at yourself. You're still going to have to deal with yourself. You're still going to have to accept yourself. You're still going to have to love yourself. Why don't you try loving yourself first? And then you're just going to magnetize naturally the person that's meant to be with you. Why don't you hand over all your soulmate, all your lover, all your twin flame stuff, hand over all of those energies, let it all go, surrender it with a beautiful meal tonight for yourself. Make yourself a beautiful celebratory meal that you're moving into 5D if you've chosen it. And you're going to say thank you to your teams and thank you to your ancestors, thank you to Gaia, thank you to the heavens. You're going to make yourself a beautiful meal and reconnect and build relationship with spirit again. Your higher self, soul, and your body is love. Why not start there first? And let all of the worries about a mate, let all of the worries about a partner, let all the worries about a union go, because God will have you with whoever you're meant to be with at the right time, in the divine timing, in the divine manner that it's meant to be. Let it go. God knows that perfect mate for you that's meant to challenge you, to inspire you, to mirror to you the same woundings, to level you up, to lift you as you lift them, and to love you unconditionally. God knows that. Source knows that. Your higher self knows that. It's okay to have these explorations on earth and to have those primal energies, but be responsible and mature about it. Don't hide it. Don't infect people knowingly. That's not mature. That's not responsible. And then again, you will have karma. The karma goes nowhere. You have to alchemize it. You have to do right. So again, humanity, we're stepping into a new playground. We're getting out of the small boxes. We're getting out of immaturity and abhorrence and barbarism. These are no more. We're into a new kindergarten. We're into a new school now. And it's not kindergarten. It's a new garden. There's new seeds. There's new consciousness. There's new ideas. There will be new flowers. There will be new scents. There will be new ways that we read energy. And we must understand all you do affects the other. Whatever you do will come back to you. The law of cause and effect. There will be an effect to your cause. So be very sure what your cause is. Someone calls you to make something right, and when someone calls you to say they get to be who they are and you get to be who you are, you move on your normal path of solidarity and sovereignty, and you stay in your own lane. Stay out of people's business. It's not your business. Their business is their business. Their life is their life. Stay out of it. It's not your concern. Your concern is your life. Your concern is your business. Stay out of people's lives. Everybody in Calgary, they have been told a bajillion times, we're not going to co-create. We're not buddies. We're not partners. We're not pals. I'm not coming back. I'm not going to co-create with anybody from Calgary. They have been given many years to make things right. They owe me. They owe me what they have been stealing. They owe me what they have been lying in the false claims and the false accusations that are 100% hogwash. I've been celibate for close to 15 years. I don't do drugs. I don't take prescription drugs. I don't take anything on any level in any way. I don't even take aspirin. I enjoy my coffee in the morning. I don't eat more than I eat, and I don't sleep more than I sleep. I live in devotion to the spiritual higher order because I am a creator God and I am here for great things. That is my passion. That is my purpose. That is my destiny. And no 3D person or group or cult or organized network hate group across the planet will ever stop me. And there will be those that will see their own demise if they continue to do so, and they've all been shown, and they've all been seeing it happen around them. Because my word matters, my word is power, and with conviction, I am moving forward with the Divine Father's plan. Humanity has its opportunity to ascend with its purity of heart and will to move forward into 5D or not. And if you choose not to, then you will just absolutely be moved because you've chosen it. You will manifest your way out. That's fine. That's your soul's choice. Understand soul's progression, move into higher consciousness, heal the triggers when they come up. It's very simple. Stay out of people's lanes. Focus on your healing. Love yourself, honor yourself, and know that alchemy is very real. You are the only one that will redeem your soul by making right and bringing truth to the spirit that is your soul. What is your story? Why did you do what you did? Why did you choose to keep doing what you did? And make it right. If you've stolen from people, you need to repay it. Somehow, some way. It sits on your soul until you make it right. If you've done them harm in any other way, through defamation, through blasphemy, through exploitation, you need to make it right. The black web will be pulled, and a lot of people will be facing and looking at who they are. Heal your wounds. And then you will begin to activate your chakras. You'll begin to clear the density. You'll begin to integrate your shadow. You'll begin to integrate self-acceptance. You'll begin to self-forgiveness. You'll be able to integrate self-compassion. And this is what makes a God. You cannot be a God if you don't go through the experiences of all your shadows. You must integrate the shadows. You must integrate the dark night of the soul. You must integrate all that is without you is within you. Are you getting the holographic universe, dear lighted ones? That's why we have universal laws. I suggest you get to know them. I claim purpose on this day, and I ask that each and every one of you make yourself a beautiful meal, have celebration with Gaia, have celebration with nature, have celebration with animals and loved ones. If you so choose, have your pure heart of intention at some point before you go to sleep tonight. Ask the Mother and the Father to join you with your guides and your ancestors and your higher self and have a beautiful meal on their behalf for protecting you and guiding you and loving you. We are on this planet without the help of bajillions of celestials and beings of ancestors and consciousness on the planet, sacred sites on the planet, elementals, fairies, gnomes, and beings of consciousness that we don't even have names for. And we are here on their behalf. To lift humanity, to lift the vibration, to lift our consciousness, to lift our intelligence to higher realms that has ever been done, and it will be through the creative expression. I celebrate each and every one of you. This is our new Earth Star. She is a jewel, and she will carry us as we carry her. Be conscious of your footstep and your footprint upon this planet, for it affects the waters and the air and your Christ consciousness within you. And say with a prayer and say with peace, however you so choose, if you want to sing it and dance it, if you want to celebrate it in your garden, however you choose to celebrate this day. We are moving through the gates of a new world, dear lighted ones, and it is your free will and your choice in this day to speak to the Mother and the Father in the heavens and all that you expect and have ideas of outside of you, beyond you, bigger than you, greater than you, of all of you, inside of you, and every cell of you, and every DNA aspect of you is the Father and the Mother and Source Creator. The substrates of our planet are shifting and changing, and you will be manifesting quicker and quicker. This is why it's so important to be healed. And thank God for all of your guides and your teams and those that God has placed before you to understand higher vibrational wisdoms and light intelligences that can guide you with beautiful navigation, with beautiful exploration and beautiful expression into a new world where you can enjoy eternal light. And yes, you're going to have to heal, and yes, it's going to be uncomfortable sometimes, and yes, you're going to challenge yourself to be more than you were the day before. But isn't that what evolution and being a maverick and an icon is all about? You didn't come here for the easy ride. You came here to be the one that would stand up. When something needed to be said, you would say it. When something needed to be made right, you did it. Because you care about life. And on behalf of Archangel Michael and all of the legions, on behalf of the Commander Ashtar and all of the Galactic Federations, Celestial Federations, and the Star Councils, it's important that we pay attention to higher order and the higher umbrella of spiritual laws and order. Because we're here to heal everything that has made us separate, discriminatory, abusive, and abhorrent. There's no reason children should be dying every day. There's no reason our planet should be ill of water, and there's no reason for children to go to bed hungry. All of these are resolvable, healable problems, and we've created it. I'm asking every human, everyone on this planet is your brother and sister. Can we come together as a family of one? Can we come together and build bridges to our celestial families and ever creation that we are all embedded and threaded with? Each and every one of us are the light. Each and every one of us are one within each other. Can we take the higher order law and the path of love and light and sound and love and song and creativity and offering of who we are genuinely and authentically without the hating and the targeting? Go within and heal every day, dear lighted ones, and accept yourself as love. And you will see your life and your world and your reality change in profound ways. Your intention, your direction, and your focus of your energy is how you manifest a reality. And there is always higher order, and there is always spiritual laws. Everyone is responsible and accountable. Everyone is held by the same universal laws. It matters not your religious beliefs. There is always a higher umbrella, and we're manifesting it now. There will be those shifted out that have been the most egregious. There will be changes made for those that have not been good leaders. There will be changes made for a transfer of wealth, for those that have been showing themselves and been initiated by the heavens to be leaders, because they have been shown how and why and where, and they've been practicing their downloads on how, why, and where. The human collective needs new systems, new leaders, and new ways of intelligence. That's why there will be a shifting of wealth, because the people have been prepared on how to handle it, how to share it, how to work with it, how to inspire it, how to manifest it, how to navigate it, how to excavate it, and how to place it out within the collective so that all are benefited. Speak out against the trafficking, speak out against secret society abuses, and be responsible. This is your new earth, and you will come back if you so choose. 5D consciousness is eternal life, and you can stay here as long as you want for hundreds of years, and you can still have the body and the youthfulness as if you're 22. That's the power of consciousness. Consciousness is youthfulness. Consciousness is eternal. Consciousness is intelligence. Consciousness is everything and all things infinite that is God. Isn't it nice to start there? And why has that been such blasphemy that I've been silenced? If I speak of such a great thing, you can be eternally youthful without disease. How is that such a bad thing? You can be equal with divine masculines in leadership. How is that such a bad thing? We can inspire the children to be their infinite creativity of authentic and genuine expression and have infinite creative musical talents and artistic talents, writing talents, orator talents. We're activating ourselves with the grids and with the planet. We're creating healthier water, healthier air. And how is that such a bad thing? And all those from my past, I wish you great goodness. I wish you great goodwill. You're all forgiven. I don't want to hear any of your confessions. Please don't come and try and find me, because you will be blocked and you will be stopped. And I will call the police. The time is up. You all know what you have stolen. You all know what you have withheld. You all know what you have done in every deed that you have done to me. I haven't deserved not 1 ounce of it. And I sat 5.5 years homeless, crying every day, transmuting the hate and the black magic that you send me. Cared about what I've carried. Nobody's cared that my finances are so out of whack it's going to take 6 to fix. Nobody has cared that I transmute hate on a daily basis. Nobody cares that my path has been altered. Nobody cares that I have been isolated from my children, and how they project and how they see me has been forever affected, and that my cells and my body and my Akash have been raped by those that think that they own me and have ownership over me, have entitlement over me, so that they can trade my name back and forth for money. And God said, how dare you? Time is up. You will no longer touch thy anointed. There is infinite seals and protections around me, and you will be stopped at all levels, no matter how tricky you think you are, no matter how cunning and conniving you think you are. Each and every one of you are getting karma, and it won't stop. And none of you are protected. And those were your choices. There is higher order. There is the law of the soul progression. Understand universal laws, and everybody is a genius as a creator. Go within and find it, and seek it, and be it. It is that simple. And that's how you allow yourself to live in eternal life and the miracle of life. It is sacred. When you activate your DNA, when you activate your gifts, when you activate your psychic abilities, it's going to be another transitional period, and you're going to have to work really closely with your guides to have them help you turn it down and help you practice with how to read, how to be psychic, how to read energy, how to heal your own body. All of these things are for you to play with. That is the gift from God. These are gifts from God, dear lighted ones, Mother and the Father. The Mother and the Father bless you with divine feminine, divine masculine energy so you can practice these divine and heavenly gifts that Jesus spoke of, that very few understood. Because he spoke quantumly, he spoke Christ consciousness consciousness matter. He spoke multidimensionally. It's always higher umbrellas, dear lighted ones, and we teach that to you. We offer it to you freely. Those that would like classes, those that would like healing sessions, those that would like activation, those that would like a channeling session, those that would like a lecture or a webinar, those that would like to make a donation. I have only eaten this year just because of the donations that the very few have sent me. And I thank you and I love you, and you are forever in my garden. You are forever protected in my garden. PayPal is the only way that I accept money. I have never asked for any money outside of these live videos. And I've only accepted payments for the sessions and the classes that you take with me specifically. Nobody else takes sessions for me. Nobody else is allowed to teach my work because it is vibrationally aligned. It's been practiced and trained, and I'm the only one that's been initiated by the heavens that teaches my work, that teaches the DNA allocation, that teaches the hybridized programs, that teaches Adam Eve Project, that teaches whatever the Divine Mother Father asks me. I am here on behalf of the Galactic Federations to assist and provide in building bridges of communications to higher vibrational beings and living, and healing, and becoming, and creating. I'm here as a creator God, and I'm here to inspire as many ideas for humanity for the infinite potential of our new eternal earth. And I'm so very happy and excited. It makes me want to sing out loud, and it makes me want to sing and dance all day long, but I've lost my voice with this cold that I have been healing my throat chakra, so my singing voice doesn't sound very opulent at this time. But I'm going to be doing a lot more of that in the new year, so I'm really excited to be doing new singing in my next 6 months of the year, and I'm really excited to inspire each and every one of you. Many of you come forward with many sacred tongue, sacred languages, so please, if you're inspired to look into different languages, if you're inspired to orate, if you're inspired to write poetry, these are all the gifts and the skills that are offered as, once again, to bring into harmony and bring into unification, into your wholeness, and become that full creative genius that you have always been. You've always been a creative genius, always. So it's just a matter of you acknowledging it, accepting it, and allowing it. That's your alchemy. And may you forever explore, express, and experience all that you are as a divine being, because your experience is what initiates you. When you transcend the experience of being thrown down, when you experience the experience of being silenced, if you experience getting up for the millionth time, experience having nothing and still being appreciative and being grateful for all the teams that help you and all the guides that help you and as many beings that love you and honor you and take you as far and as high as you want to go, all of these beings are here for your highest eternal life, because you're connected with all of the realms up to 13th in this one universe. And your advancement and your evolution and your enhancement and your expansion assists them as they assist you. And that's why you get those sheaths of light. They're gifts from God. They're gifts from Spirit to say, you did a great job. Here's some more light codes. And when you do get these activations, that means that your body, your physical body, is going to go through a biochemical and a biophysical experience. So you're going to have those ascension symptoms. It's okay that you don't run to the doctor or you don't run to the hospital every time you have a symptom. I.e., your skin will start to feel vibrating, your cells will start to feel vibrating, the axonal lines will start to come to life. You're going to be more sensitive to energy and groups around you, those that are really negative and those that have been playing on your energy fields, those that have been harvesting and siphoning from you and taking from you. You will be shown these people in your dreams to start cutting the cord and severing all ties. Everybody from Calgary, the ties and the stories are cut and closed. There will be no more co-creation with anybody from past timelines that have been harvesting and using my name and abusing my energy and abusing my experiences. There will be no timelines ever again. So the decisions from the spiritual courts have already been made. My message today was that. The spiritual courts have made the final decision. There will be movement out of those people that have been the most egregious and continuing to do harm to my templates, continuing to do harm to my fields, continuing to do harm to my Akash and my time. There's people constantly trying to take me out and to warp and destroy who I am. I'm not sure why, because you take out the innocent light workers that are here to build bridges for humanity and you're on the path of extinction. So it doesn't make sense. And again, why? It has to be investigated. Because people that are intentionally moving into the path of extinction, it makes no sense on any level whatsoever. It doesn't matter how much money you think you have, extinction is extinction. Money ain't going to do you any good. So that's why you have to understand sometimes these are demonically directed hits for clones and people that have no brain and no conscience left. Otherwise, why would they do such things? You're walking into extinction. What good is your money going to do? There's no common sense whatsoever, and every liberty of every law has been crossed. And these are the people that will be moved. And so it's just being shown. The truths will come out, the energies will come out, the stories will come out. Those that have been involved in such, you need to go to the authorities, tell your sides of the truth. Remember, your karma will only be cleared if it's pure intention to clear your spirit's story. Doing it to get other people in trouble, that's not purity of intent. If you're doing it for you to get out of something, that's not purity of intent. Speak your soul's pure story. Why did you do what you did? Why were you involved? What is your truth? Clear your soul's spiritual story. You take accountability for your actions. That's how you clear your karma and make right where you can. Everybody's been given 3 years. I've received nothing from anybody. Therefore, that's then sit. And those that try and block and try and stop and sabotage, karma, 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 judgment, 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 judgment. Those at the very top of the elites that are directing these hits and the abhorrent trafficking and the abhorrent of shifting children in and out and the things that have just been egregious. It's 100% healable. It's silly as putty. It's not necessary. It's ridiculous as putty. It doesn't make any sense why people would consistently, relentlessly, obsessively take themselves into extinction. It doesn't make sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. Do the infinity, draw it out every day, and do your ascension path work. From where you sit right now, from your woundings, from your trigger, what? Will you choose to align within the center of who you are and open your heart and begin self-loving healing practices? You are the only one that can redeem your choices, your beliefs, your systems of where you're going next. Take loving commandment of your body, heart, mind, and soul. You are a soul and you are infinite, and you can choose to grow infinitely in light with the support of the heavens and your celestials and your guides and your angels and your ancestors and Gaia and your sacred trinity, the heavens, your collective, and Gaia. You have infinite amounts of support and unconditional love. And those that God places before you, like myself, like other light workers that have been talking about elite soul harvesting, that have been helping share my stories because my channel has been shadow banned, that have been coming forward and bringing truth when nobody else will. Speak up if you see abuse. Speak up if you know abuse. Speak up if you've been involved. Speak up, speak up, speak up. Otherwise, you will go where you will go. And your soul will not come back into another 3D body because there will be no more 3D timelines. This is the way of ascension. And religious beliefs won't take you through ascension. You can still practice your religions, absolutely. But you must have higher light wisdom to take you through the ascension process and understand the soul's progression. Keep whatever religions you want. There is also added light wisdom necessary. Ascension is a very real thing. It affects your body. It affects your belief systems. It affects who you are. Therefore, thus then, light wisdoms are necessary for all of humanity to move forward. And why they have silenced me, because they know this. So I'm saying thank you, dear lighted ones, and thank you for all of you that choose to be their own godliness, for all of you, those that choose to be sovereign, for all of those to speak up on the liberties of our basic human rights. Thou shalt not steal, interfere, covet other people's wives, be responsible in your communications, be responsible with your body, be active in knowing that all you do affects all. So why not just be mature and responsible? Because you will have to face your deeds. It is alchemy time. And this is the process of ascension. We welcome the garden of New Earth Star. Thank you, Gaia, and to all of the heavenly beings and bodies. We thank the Galactic Federation for absolutely supporting and protecting those of us that choose to be on the higher path of ascension and evolution. Thank you to our guides, and thank you to Mother, Father, God. When we say we act in the purity of our intention with our open heart to live and breathe and be and create within the highest timelines of creativity and eternal life, that Mother, Father, God, and all of the heavens will assure that the next morning and the next day things will be shifted and moved, because your pure intention means something. How you play actually matters. And these are absolute vibrational truths, dear lighted ones. I'm simply offering what I've known for eons, and I'm coming forward as a vibrational teacher, healer, and a conduit. And it's not my fault that people get triggered because of their beliefs and their bigotry. I'm a divine feminine. I'm not a porn star. I don't do drugs. I don't have sex with random people. I've been celibate for 15 years. I would never give authority for anybody to have power of attorney over me in any way. I'm a human rights advocate. There have been countless defamation stories. There have been fabrications on who I am and my birth date and my place of birth. Those need to be brought right and brought true and real by the people that have done it, US, Canadian government, and all of the secret societies that have been paid to take me out. And every day that goes by that you choose not to, you are sealing your own fate, and you cannot run from your karma. The karma boards are 24/7, they see it all. And there will be cults, covens, people moved out. That is my word. This is my garden now. And there are higher vibrational leaders that are passionate about providing higher vibrational light wisdoms from the heavens, higher spiritual order, natural order, empowerment, encouragement of the highest order through consciousness that is all that we are as love. And in that, dear lighted ones, we say namaste. Love who you are, express who you are, explore who you are, because your experience is everything to how you're initiated and how you achieve and how you become the ranking of who you are within your soul. Your soul loves you, your higher self loves you, your higher self would always guide you into the highest loving actions. Your higher self would never ever tell you anything derogatory about who you are, how to treat people, would never tell you to hurt people, would never tell you to separate or discriminate. Your higher self would never ever behave in such ways. Therefore, honor the godliness of your higher self. We are becoming godly, and let's celebrate. It's okay to say you are godly in the most loving and spiritual, soulful way. Being godly is not egoic. It's who you're meant to be. And when you're balanced and when you're aligned, and when you're humble and loving all that you are as light and love, and you honor the rules and the laws of the universe, that is godly. And again, my story of Commander Ashtar. True power is honoring your consciousness and how far and how wide and how creative it can take you. That's godly. That's true power. And we say this day, dear lighted ones, celebrate, have a meal, create with pure intention. Who are you? What's going on within you? And who do you choose to be with the harmonization and the building of new relationships with spirit, connections with spirit, connection with all life, because we are moving into new consciousness. And the bedding is super divine and beautiful. And I'm so very excited for these substrates to be bouncing back such wonderful positivity. And speak life over your life, speak love into your life, and know that all is well. We love you, dear lighted ones. Anybody that would like to send a donation, I would love it. And thank you for sending me your donations. I love you deeply and profoundly, all of you. Please look into any types of poetry, painting, music that inspires you. Get very infused and excited about knowing your body is healed while you're expressing your highest creativity and while you're playing with Gaia. Gaia is a beautiful activator of natural healing. So please take it upon yourself to be with nature and Gaia as much as possible. See everybody around you as equal. The children are equal. The natives are equal. The indigenous are equal. All aspects of animals are equal. Divine feminine is equal, and we are leaders and we are gods. And we thank you so very much. We love the Holy Mother Father. Thank you, Mother Father. Thank you, Galactic Federation. And thank you for this extended play today. We love you so very much. Thank you for your donations. My PayPal is always in the links of my videos, as well as my YouTube platform. And we thank you so very much.